We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters. That's all I ever wanted as a platoon leader. And it's all my E6 squad leaders ever wanted, back to that E6 rule. We let our leaders fight their formations, and then we have their back. It's very simple, yet incredibly powerful. A few months ago, I was at the White House when President Trump announced his Liberation Day for America's trade policy. It was a landmark day. Well, today is another Liberation Day. The liberation of America's warriors, in name, in deed, and in authorities. You kill people and break things for a living. You are not politically correct and don't necessarily belong always in polite society. We are not an army of one. We are a joint force of millions of selfless Americans. We are warriors. We are purpose-built, not for fair weather, blue skies, or calm seas. We were built to load up in the back of helicopters, 5 tons, or Zodiacs, in the dead of night, in fair weather or foul, to go to dangerous places, to find those who would do our nation harm, and deliver justice on behalf of the American people in close and brutal combat if necessary. You are different. We fight not because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us. You see, the Ivy League faculty lounges will never understand us, and that's okay, because they could never do what you do. The media will mischaracterize us, and that's okay, because deep down they know the reason they can do what they do is you. In this profession, you feel comfortable inside the violence so that our citizens can live peacefully. Lethality is our calling card, and victory our only acceptable end state. In closing, a few weeks ago, at our...
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at theDove TV. Find out coming soon.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. This is where it happens, right here, even in a temporary set where Jerry Bilden is
half off,
kind of getting squeezed out a little bit, but that's okay, Jerry. We love you.
That's okay. Well,
you know, 2 more breaks and you're off.
At least you're cutting off my left part. You know, and that's important.
All right, scoot a little over this way, I guess. There you go. There you go.
You too.
Oh yeah. Okay, there we go.
No, wrong way.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, we're in a temporary set, so hold on, folks. In about a week or so, you'll be surprised. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. A lot going on in the news. As we speak, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, is addressing the military leaders, and that is expected to change here in a few minutes. The president's going to speak.
Oh, okay.
So this is basically, hey, it's a new day at the, well, they used to call it the Defense Department. Now it's the
War Department.
War Department.
Yeah. Well, it used to be called the War Department.
Yeah.
Then it used to be called the Defense Department. And now we're back to the War Department. Yes.
Stick around. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might be high security before it's all over.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning to you. How you doing?
Well, it's a nice morning. It's not raining. It was easy to get into work.
Yeah.
And
a little foggy in here and there, but nice.
Yeah, I missed it, but it is that type of weather, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So you're going to get that morning temperature inversion, which could create some low-hanging marine air.
There you go. And this is an exciting part of the year.
Yeah.
It hardly gets more exciting than this. It's baseball playoffs. They start today.
Okay.
Hot dog!
And where are the Yanks?
At home, hosting the dreaded Boston Red Sox.
Oh, God.
Oh, it couldn't get any more rivalry-laden than this.
Tonight?
this afternoon, 3 o'clock.
Oh, it's our time?
Yep, 6 o'clock New York time.
Are you in front of your 100-inch when you get home from this one?
Like this. I got to have all my work. Yeah, I got to work hard to get done by 3 o'clock.
There you go.
All right.
All right, good morning to you. What else going on?
Well, I'll be chewing gum, too, because it's National Chewing Gum Day.
Well, of course it is. It's a baseball playoff.
Absolutely. Well, remember they used to put chewing gum in baseball cards? Do they do that anymore?
I don't think so.
We unpacked a whole bunch of baseball cards last night because I had a granddaughter's birthday, and they love the Yankees, and they love baseball, and they have these albums of baseball cards. And so we get them Yankee regalia, and we give them baseball cards. But there's no gum in them anymore. Why? Why is that?
Well, because they replaced it with chewing tobacco.
Oh. I hate when my 9-year-old granddaughter goes, I hate that.
Especially on the carpet, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her mom really hates it. Okay, so enjoy your chewing gum. You know, chewing gum goes back over 5,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? It's also National Mud Pack Day. Mixtures of therapeutic clays, when applied to the skin, increase circulation, ease muscle tension, release toxin, boost immunity, and make you look kind of funny. I mean, we've all
really
seen.
Work?
I don't know. I've never had a mud pack. In fact, there are some mud packs in some places that they say it is so therapeutic that people go in and they put their whole body in the mud.
Yeah.
Now, we used to do that, but we were little kids when we did that. No wonder we looked so good when we were little kids, huh?
There we go.
All right, moving on. National Love People Day. Now, isn't this a day that we should be exercising love every single day? Didn't Jesus say when they tried to trap him, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength? And the second is this: love your neighbor as yourself.
Now, that's a tough one.
Yes, it is. That's the challenging part of that.
It is.
It really is.
Can we just edit that out?
Sometimes we do that on our own, don't we?
Right up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have some hot mulled cider.
Ooh.
It's the only thing we have to consume today. A traditional fall and winter drink made by heating cider to almost boiling point, adding cinnamon, orange peel, nutmeg, cloves, and other spices, and then simmering it. Just the scent of it steeping on the stove will warm your home, will warm our kitchen space, will warm everything in between.
Well, we have some people with the sniffles around here, so it's perfect for that.
Yeah, you know, there's a bit of that going on right now. I noticed that last night too when we were celebrating. So
people are plugged up.
Okay, hey, you know, the International Space Station keeps orbiting and orbiting. 17,000 plus miles per hour, once around the Earth every around 90 minutes. I love to track it. Wow. But what happens if you need a tool up there? You know, in the old days, it used to take weeks and sometimes months to get the tool, get it onto a shuttle or onto whatever was going up. But no more. Now it's same day.
They got a Harbor Freight up there?
No, they have something better. What? They have 2 3D printers. Now, if you need a tool in space, they email it to you.
Really?
No kidding. They email the equipment. Basically, they have 3D printing technology. Now it lets NASA do in a few hours what used to take weeks and months. They have a 3D printer, the Additive Manufacturing Facility, which produces hardware on demand in space, and a metal 3D printer. It's been utilized for various applications. They've produced over 200 parts, including tools, educational materials, and used it for experiments and research. The metal 3D printer developed by Airbus was installed on the ISS to demonstrate the feasibility of producing metallic parts in microgravity.
Wow.
Yeah, so they got 2 3D printers on the International Space Station, but you know what they don't have? Starbucks.
Well, Starbucks is going.
They're hitting the dirt, aren't they?
Yeah, we lost 3 of them here in the last.
And we're not the only ones. I think they're going backwards. And if they keep putting nasty messages on cups of people, they're going to go further back.
Well, we lost 3 here, and I understand over 1,000. I think 1,600 are slated to be shut down.
Really?
Across the country.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they're no longer the dominant thing.
Right. Well, you know what? Maybe they need an attitude check.
Gosh, do they ever?
Huh? You know, isn't customer service what it's about?
Over and over. You take a company, you grow it up into this wonderful thing.
Right.
Then you invite stupid people on your board. They ruin it. The leadership goes. The founder goes. All the good people go. And you get left with this stupid company that can't see its way out of a wet paper bag.
And now they're closing some stores.
And now they're closing some stores.
Wow.
Duh, you lost mission.
Yeah, good point. Yes.
So I guess I'll never die.
Enjoy your chewing gum today.
Yeah, how's that for a little rant?
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. Well, here's a guy that you just couldn't 3D him into anything.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rainy and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-60s from Vancouver and Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville, with a south wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy conditions and daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a south wind gusting up to 28 miles per hour. In central Oregon, increasing clouds and breezy in Prineville with a high near 71, a chance of showers breezy in mid-60s in Bend and Sun River. In Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and a thunderstorm with a high near 74. Rain with gusty winds along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-60s for Coos Bay and Port Orford, 59 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California, with a south wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, cloudy with a slight chance of showers in the Rogue Valley and highs in the upper 60s for Grants Pass and Ashland and low 70s in Medford. Mostly cloudy in Klamath Falls with a high in the low 60s. Into northern California, partly sunny, breezy in upper 60s in Wairika. A chance of showers with highs in the low 70s for Redding and Chico. A slight chance of showers in Sacramento, then partly sunny in mid-70s. In the Bay Area, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog in Santa Rosa and Napa, then partly sunny with highs in the low 70s. A slight chance of rain, then mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 71, and San Jose near 76. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
And a little bit of a shot of our backyard this morning. We got a little bit of everything going on. We woke up, we had some low fog. Now clear skies. That's
I don't see McLaughlin.
Well, it could be under a cloud right there.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point, because
Yeah,
it certainly looks like Venus.
Yeah, that's Venus up there, but it's a little bit of a layer out there this morning. And when we get the shot over towards the valley, you'll see it.
Okay.
So nice rain yesterday. I didn't pay any attention. Rain today?
A chance.
A chance.
But I don't know. It might fizzle out.
Okay, I have to. I got to move some stuff with my truck today, so good. I don't have to cover it. If it would just rain at night.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll bet you everybody's got their firewood covered by now.
Well, they better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, time for a bit of encouragement with one of our favorites, Dr. Anthony George.
One of the reasons a lot of Christians are afraid or hesitant to share their faith with other people is they feel like they're not a good enough Christian. They feel like, well, I've still got some stuff I'm dealing with in my life. Well, join the club. Listen, if you wait until you get perfect to talk to people about Jesus, you're not going to tell anybody about Jesus. Because you will always have something that you're struggling with in your life because of the flesh. Amen? We all are going to have battles. So don't wait until you get perfect. And isn't it funny how if you want to tell somebody about Jesus, there'll be a little voice in your ear that'll remind you of some sin in your past or some struggle that you're having. Do you think God would want you to stop telling somebody about Jesus because you're not perfect? So whose voice is that? It's the great disqualifier of saints who wants to discredit you because you're not perfect, and maybe because you're imperfect, you're going to be hesitant to share your faith, and someone's eternal destiny is on the line, and you're waiting to get perfectly cleaned up before you share the gospel? Oh, we can't wait. We got to talk about Jesus, warts and all.
What a great point.
Well, I think
Man.
the best story you have to tell somebody is your own.
Yeah.
And we're all Christians in transition.
Yeah.
It's called sanctification.
And and some people kind of resist even coming to the Lord because they want to clean up their lives a little bit. He's like, God can't take me in the state I am. Yes, he can.
Yeah, I mean, don't clean the fish before you catch them. That doesn't work.
Oh, I love that. I've never heard that before. That's great.
Yeah, don't clean.
Thank you very much. You mind if I use that?
No, try.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All
I mean,
right.
it's pretty old. You just.
I just heard it. It's new to me.
There you go.
All right.
Good morning to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. Quite a bit going down today. As we speak, the president's due to speak to some military leaders here this morning. We probably will interrupt things and bring you part of that. In the meantime, we're heading for a shutdown tomorrow in the government, and it looks like it's going to happen. Vice President recent event says the government is likely headed into a shutdown after the president met with some Democrats yesterday. So here's a little bit of what he had to say.
You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American health care policy is broken. Well, we know that American health care policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office. But every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American health care is policy the Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American health care policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together. But let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do. And the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see. I'll let the Speaker say a few words.
This is the common sense thing to do. This is the right thing to do. This is the simple thing to do. By way of review, the House is getting back to the way the regular appropriations process is supposed to work. 12 separate appropriations bills passed through the House Appropriations Committee, 3 off the floor. The Senate doing their work as well. All this in bipartisan fashion, by the way. They passed 3 bills in the Senate. Those bills don't match up exactly. So for the first time in years, since 2019, you have a conference committee that is being constituted between the House and the Senate. This is the way a bill becomes a law. They work out the differences. All this is happening in bipartisan fashion. The problem is we run out of clock. September 30th is the end of the fiscal year, so we need a little more time. So what we did in the Republican majority is the right, responsible, simple thing. A clean, continuing resolution, a short-term, nonpartisan continuing resolution. It's only 24 pages in length. Leader Thune has a copy if you want to see the exhibit. There's nothing partisan in here. No policy writers, none of our big party preferences, because we want to do the right thing by the American people and allow more time for negotiation.
Well, I'm glad they're out in front of this.
Yeah.
And they're explaining it. And this is going to be Schumer's. And he's got a little bit of the legacy media to carry his craziness.
And yeah.
But it looks like we're heading for a shutdown.
Speaking of legacy media, do you think legacy media is airing what we just saw?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because they explained it pretty well there.
They did.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. And so we're going to go into this circus. But I have to tell you, it is, shutting the government down is an interruption. Mm-hmm. You know, if you have things in an agency that's going through process like we do with the FCC, it just stops.
Yeah.
And then it gets pushed back, okay? So you got this kind of stuff going on. But, you know, I really think they need to go ahead and go through this, because the flip side of it is the president's going to use this by telling agency leaders permanently lay people off.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's going to put the Democrats on this big cry. You guys are doing, taking away.
You cut all of this here, and forgetting that they actually instituted the whole thing.
Yeah, we're in this mess because of overspending. When are we going to stop it? Okay. All right. This story. I had to bring this to you today because the next time I get in trouble, I'm going to hire the Trump legal.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
No, I think I'm going to.
I think
he has his own law firm.
I think yes.
If he doesn't, he should.
Oh, yeah, and
he owns about 3 of them.
Well, they're all working.
Okay.
Like round the clock.
All right. So anyway, as you know, we got canceled from YouTube several years ago, and it went on for about 3.5, 4 years. And they took over 15,000 of our videos, and we were asked to join all these lawsuits, but we didn't want to do that because we felt that our suit was we were damaged. We lost income. We figured we lost over $100,000 a year.
No kidding.
By YouTube income.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and it was gone.
Wow.
And it hurt us bad. But President Trump gets knocked out for a little bit, and what's he do? He sues them. And he wins.
Yeah.
$24.5 million.
Wins again.
Again.
Yes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, can I borrow your team for a week?
Yeah. And speaking of legacy news media, are they reporting any of this?
I have no idea.
They sure reported it when he got kicked off, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
but he wins. They have to pay him $24.5 million.
Yeah.
God.
And he's giving it away. They're going to, for the ballroom fund.
Amazing. Okay. Well, the other thing is yesterday, as you know, the president met with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and they're trying hard to settle the problems in Gaza. We'll have more on this with CBN News coming up a little bit. But the president came up with a 20-point Gaza peace plan. Now, this includes really creating a coalition and everybody working together. It's a new type of deal.
Okay.
Well, the prime minister bought into it. But there is the phrase in there, if Hamas doesn't play by the rules, so to speak, all hell will break loose.
Right, and there are a lot of things in there that Hamas should be happy of. One thing that's not in there that I think we should all be happy about, the words two-state solution do not appear.
Yeah. So I read the 10 points, pretty interesting. Here's what the president had to say.
I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do. Everyone understands that the ultimate result must be the elimination of any danger posed in the region, and that danger is caused by Hamas. The tyranny of terror has to end, and this is, again, something that we're looking for. This is eternity. This is for forever. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, good man, very good man, and some others.
Oh, there you go. I read 10 points. Jerry's absolutely right. There's some things in there. You don't see the two-state solution in there. But Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough. The war must end immediately. That's point 3, point 2. So the rebuilding of Gaza for people, but it won't be a two-state solution.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I think there's a coalition. A few more people have to sign on. If they do, away it goes. If Hamas doesn't agree, I think all this is off, and then that will be the elimination. But I think what the president's trying to say to the world, and especially with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, we tried everything.
Yeah.
We have no regrets. We tried, and they didn't play ball.
Yep.
All right, this is kind of interesting. Ukraine war heats up. As you know, Russia's been flying drones over Poland, aircraft over Estonia. They're violating NATO airspace. Well, yesterday, Ukraine retaliated and hit one of the main electrical plants inside Russia. Belgorod, there we go. And a lot of citizens now in Russia are in the dark.
Oh, whoa.
Now, let me ask you something. Where do they get the intelligence?
You know what? I was just going to ask you this. Where is all this, and the material? Are they getting new?
Where did they get the intelligence to drop a bomb or whatever they dropped, a missile, inside the electrical plant?
And what did they send in there?
In Belarus.
Yeah. Was this
Every once in a while, Ukraine just absolutely surprises. You got to remember, they hit an air base. They took out the Navy.
Yeah, right. And now we're seeing a shift on the part of President Trump. He's getting a little bit, ticked at Putin, and a little more cooperative towards, going towards Ukraine. And obviously, NATO is funding, or at least providing, weaponry that we're, giving to NATO.
Well, what's so interesting to me is that you wonder who is helping with intelligence here, because that is a direct. I would say that Ukraine has shown more sophistication than Russia has in this war, but it's got to end. This killing and this stuff has got to end. Now, they didn't hit a hospital, they didn't hit a school, they didn't hit an apartment house, they hit a power plant.
Those are good points.
Didn't I tell you something?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
big ideas grow.
Hi, I'm Sherry Breslin with Rogue Valley Security. Whether it's alarms, cameras, keyless entry, or even Starlink, we tailor solutions for your home or business. We believe in professionalism, excellence, and integrity. Every job, every time. Visit RogueValleySecurity.com.
We've all enjoyed a real hot summer, and now fire danger is biting at its heels. Flammable blackberries and underbrush will grow like gangbusters and sprout fire danger in no time. A wise property owner knows the best time to take care of fire danger is to extinguish it before it gets started. GMV Forestry, LLC can help you protect your property with adequate fire brush clearing to fireproof a zone around your precious property. With over 35 years experience, GMV Forestry LLC has the knowledge, experience, and all the equipment you need to get the job done right, offering a wide variety of services like mulching, field mowing, snow removal, driveway clearing, ditch cleaning, gravel delivery and spreading, driveway sweeping, logging, and more. GMV Forestry LLC does it all, and they do it right. GMV Forestry LLC, the team you can trust. 541-660-6445. 541-660-6445.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
Okay, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. A couple of things. We're waiting for the president to speak before military leaders. We'll try to bring you some of that live this morning. Well, late last night, guess what? Your taxes went up if you're in Oregon substantially. They finally got the votes, and they passed it through the Senate last night, one of the biggest tax hikes in the state history. The vote was 18-11, right down party lines, and Governor Tina Kotek got what she wanted. This is absolutely despicable. Your gas, we are one of the highest gas tax states in the United States. The three West Coast states are. Right. We're the highest, right. And we added 6 cents to that. We doubled payroll tax, and the list goes on and on and on, to the point of $4.3 billion additional taxes on the back of working Oregonians over the next 10 years. This is absolutely crazy. All for a $350 million shortfall that could have been easily solved out of the rainy day fund, and then put this agency in the audit. This is well, I got to be careful.
We're
here.
already like $1 over the national average on gas.
It's
and
crazy.
Now it's going to go higher.
So the only thing I can say is, I hope you remember this come next spring during the midterm elections.
Yeah.
These people that don't know what it is to balance the budget, they don't know what it is to run a business, they don't know what it is to be middle class, they don't know anything.
And they don't care.
And they don't care.
Right.
This is ludicrous.
Yep.
And but they passed it. They had the votes. They did it. This is what happens when you have a supermajority in your town.
Whoa.
All right, one other little thing now to go from my rant, which I have to calm down on that one. That really ticks me off because
for a good reason.
Well, it's you know what? That means we don't hire people.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Right.
Sorry. There's just something fun going on because this is what I like to do, and I don't tell people how I do it.
Okay.
I love Youth 715 organization.
Yeah.
They help young people, and Bud Robinson and the team over there, they're just the best. Well, they have their annual online auction going on right now. This is where you can go and you can bid on all of these items. And all of these items have been donated to be sold to help them do what they do. And let me tell you, folks, you know, they lost a $300,000 grant because they won't say yes to wokeness.
Yes, yeah.
Heart with the Mission just lost a big grant because they won't do gender identity.
Really?
The squeeze is on for a nonprofit Christian organization, primarily because they're faith-based, okay?
Whoa.
I could rant on this one for a long time. The point is, go there, go to Youth 715, click on the auction, work your way in there, and start bidding on these items. I won't tell you what I'm bidding on, but I'm raising the prices on some of these. Now, I'm running the risk of getting stuck.
I know you are. Yeah, go, man, go.
Which I have no problem with.
Okay.
But they have everything from food to services to games to items to automotive to who knows what. They have been, this is one of the best auctions they've had in a long time. And I can't say enough what they do with young people. I'm telling you something, folks. This is the honest to God's truth. Christian-based organizations that reach into the community. We call them parachurch ministry, such as Youth 715, okay? Food Access, Salvation Army. You can take Hearts with the Mission. You can take ROC. You can take Recovery Cafe. All of these organizations that are faith-based that reach into the community, they do more good than any government agency could possibly do.
Yeah.
And it's $1 in and $2 out. How that happens, I don't know. It's the loaves and the fishes miracles that goes through a Christian organization. And I just want to say to you, go to Youth 715's website and bid.
Yeah, before Perry gets it way up there.
You won't know what I'm doing. I'm running the risk of what? Can I go ahead and buy this if I get stuck with it? The answer is yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. There's quite a military meeting, if you don't know this, but our Department of Defense, the name has been changed to the Department of War. Pete Hegstaff, who is the Secretary of War, has called all of the major military leaders together for this conference over the next couple of days. He just gave a huge speech to them this morning. Here's the president. We'll take a little bit of this live right now.
Over the last 4 years with the incompetence, there could be no higher honor than to serve as your commander-in-chief. It is a great honor. I look at you, you're just incredible people. Central casting, I might add. To each and every one of you, I thank you for your unwavering devotion to the armed forces and to the country that we've all sworn a sacred oath to defend. We all have that oath, every one of us. I'm thrilled to be here this morning to address the senior leadership of what is once again known around the world as the Department of War. I know Pete spoke about it. He gave a great speech, I thought. Great speech. I don't want him to get so good. I hate that. You know? No, I hate it. I almost fired him. I said, you can't. I don't want to go on after that. No, he gave a great speech, but he talked about Department of War. We were sitting there. I said, didn't it used to be called the Department of War? And he goes, yes, sir. They changed it like in the early 50s. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything in between and everything before that. We only won. And then we went, in a way, woke. That was probably the first sign of wokeness. And we changed it to defense instead of war. And I said, what do you think? How do you think if we changed it back? Would that be a nice idea? And Pete loved it immediately. Some people thought about it. You know, they gave it a little thought. But in the end, we did it. And I have to be honest, it's so popular. I thought it would be met with fury on the left. But they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it. They've had it with Trump. They've been after me for so many years now. Here we are. Here we are. Come to the White House anytime you'd like. No, they've given up. They're bad, a lot of bad people. But all over, it's been so popular. It's been very popular. I really thought that we were going to have to sort of fight it through. There's been no fight.
You know, he makes it so easy for the left.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh.
Well, you know, he's the only guy that can read a teleprompter and read something that's not there.
Oh, and continue down the page.
No.
It's amazing.
We'll come in and out of that.
Okay.
It's pretty wild out there. Let's take a quick look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there. We still have some leftover stuff coming our way.
And we got a chance this afternoon. You know, they're talking about a little more rain in our forecast.
So there's a reprieve, and then it's coming back.
Yeah.
But we did get some good showers, and so this could trickle on till about Thursday morning. So we'll see how this goes.
Well, we were scratching our head the other day when Benjamin Netanyahu visited the UN, where we're supposed to have this open forum and to discuss the problems, the issues of the world, and he walks in, and most of the body walks out.
It's absolutely disgusting.
It's sad. Well, Alan Dershowitz was at the UN General Assembly when the delegates walked out, and he spoke with Newsmax's Greta Van Susteren about what he saw.
I was sitting in the front row, and it was one of the most disgusting sights I had ever seen. All these bigoted countries that applauded Iran, that applaud Venezuela, that applaud Castro, that applaud Russia, that applaud China, that applaud sexism, racism. All of them are walking out on the one nation state of the Jewish people in the world. It was bigotry at its extreme. And for me, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I am now no longer in support of the United States remaining in the UN or the UN remaining in the United States. What good does it do? It used to be called a meaningless debate society. Now it's not even a debate society because the debate requires that there be an audience and that both sides be presented. These are people that would have stayed to listen to people from Iran, listen to Hamas. They probably would have cheered Hamas. The United Nations has lost its way. I don't see why the United States remains in the United Nations. It does no good. It does an enormous amount of harm. It makes peace much less likely rather than more likely. And I have to tell you, just spending a few hours at the UN today, I had to prevent myself from throwing up. It was disgraceful, disgraceful. I thought Netanyahu's speech was very good. I'm going to be speaking to him later today, and I'll be able to tell him that in person and give him some of my usual advice. Sometimes he accepts it, sometimes he doesn't. I'm hopeful that President Trump will make an arrangement on Monday that sounds to me like it's potentially plausible. My understanding is that it would end the war. All the hostages would be returned immediately, and then there'd be a gradual pullout of Israeli troops. I think that's something that some of the Arab states seem to already have agreed to with Trump, and it sounds to me like it's something that at least could be seriously considered by Netanyahu. But believe me, peace will never come through the United Nations. Nothing good will come from the United Nations. Nothing good.
Well,
whoa.
There's the final nail in the coffin, and the only thing I can think of is that the president, he's got a lot on his plate, but if I was him, and I'm not, I would wait until the State of the Union address and make it part of my speech in the State of the Union.
Absolutely. The U.S. is consistently, by far, the largest contributor to the United Nations, and when you ask how much we contribute, all they can say is billions. They don't give you an actual number.
All right, so the president gets up.
And that's every year, sorry.
Yeah, gets up in the State of the Union and says, we're done with the UN.
Yeah.
We're no longer going to be a member. We're going to cancel our membership. We're no longer going to pay for it. And we're going to cancel their lease.
What would it take? Does Congress have to get involved?
I don't know. That's a great question. Now, this is an international agreement. I would assume that it does.
Yeah, I would too, yeah.
But the only thing he has to do is get up and announce this is what he wants to do and let the Democrats own it.
Just like they own crime in the city streets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But there was nothing more despicable than to not even given the courtesy of people sitting there listening to something. This was below seventh grade childish stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking
of childish stuff, you know that Oregon is fighting Trump bringing the National Guard in. Did you see what happened in Louisiana overnight? They asked the National Guard to come in.
Well, the residents around those federal buildings want them in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're in an interesting time. I think the Democrats they're now beginning to feel what they've done to others, and they don't like it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyway, what do we have?
We have hot mulled cider.
Oh,
it'll chill it. I mean, you just calm down, take some hot mulled cider, get the spices in your system.
We have some muffins back there, not with sesame seed. What's the other one you're not supposed to have?
Poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds.
You're not supposed to. Was anybody taking a drug test today or
what? They could. So if you guys would all have a poppy seed muffin this morning, I'll random test you this afternoon, and you're out of here.
You're all gone.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
All right, 22 minutes before the hour, a lot going on today. Let's check in with CBN Newswatch now that the 10-point, is it 10 or 12? 10-point deal is on the table. And with the president and, 20 points, excuse me. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has given his nod to it. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get caught up.
This is CBN Newswatch.
And we begin this half hour with President Trump's peace plan for the Middle East as the U.S., Israel, and other countries await reaction from Hamas, with the president saying, if Hamas does not agree, Israel will have the administration's full support to do what it has to do against the terrorist group. CBN's Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has the story now. She's reporting from Jerusalem.
At a joint press conference, President Trump presented his comprehensive plan for peace in the Middle East.
So today is a historic day for peace.
He thanked leaders of Arab and Muslim nations, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Jordan, Turkey, and Indonesia.
It's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East.
The proposal includes the return of 48 hostages, about 20 of whom are believed to still be alive, within 72 hours of signing the agreement in exchange for 250 Palestinian prisoners and an immediate end to the war.
Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas.
Hamas terrorists who lay down their weapons will receive amnesty and passage out. Trump said it's up to Hamas now to agree to the deal.
But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
Netanyahu said he supports Trump's plan because it achieves Israel's war aims.
It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
Earlier, Netanyahu apologized to Qatar officials for the recent attempt to target Hamas leaders in Qatar. If Hamas agrees to the plan, the first step will be a modest Israeli withdrawal and the release of the hostages.
The next step will be the establishment of an international body charged with fully disarming Hamas and demilitarizing Gaza.
That body is dubbed the Board of Peace, headed by Trump and including regional countries. As to a future Palestinian state, Trump's plan calls for reforms in the Palestinian Authority, which could create conditions for, quote, a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. Netanyahu says the reforms must be deep and permanent.
And that means ending pay to slay, changing the poisonous textbooks that teach hatred to Jews, to Palestinian children, stopping incitement in the media, ending lawfare against Israel at the ICC, the ICJ, recognizing the Jewish state, and many, many other reforms.
As Netanyahu heads back to Israel, the world waits to see if Hamas will sign on to the deal. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, what is the reaction in the Israeli government and the public to this peace plan?
Well, right now the reaction, Ephraim, is mixed. The political operation leaders, they're supporting the plan that would include Yair Lapid, Benny Gantz, Hostage Families Forum. That's the one that recognizes or advocates for many of the hostage families. They're supporting their plan. They're saying they're taking a breath of relief from this press conference yesterday. The Tikva Forum, which is usually in opposition to that Hostage Families Forum, they said it actually was consistent with their principles to release all the hostages at once, and that if Hamas reneges, then Israel can go ahead and do what it can to continue to destroy Hamas. So many, they're kind of mixed reactions on both sides. There are others who are saying, like Avi Abelo, we interviewed him earlier today for Jerusalem Dateline. He believes this opens the door to Qatar. Many people have said Hamas is Qatar and Qatar Hamas. They're a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, so that it brings Qatar into the equation, which he thinks in the long run could be very dangerous for the Jewish state.
Is there a concern, could Hamas sign on to this plan just to gain time and try to quietly rebuild its forces?
It remains to be seen from how much Hamas can do right now. Their military capability has been reduced significantly. Right now, the IDF controls the borders, and it really signals right now we're hearing that Hamas really doesn't support the deal. They're calling it Trump's plan in certain articles that are allied with Hamas. Is Netanyahu's plan, it says, and it achieves for Netanyahu what he failed on the battlefield. So it remains to be seen if this is going to be supported by Hamas at all, and whether the deal will be signed. But what this plan also does, Ephraim, it opens the door for what they call an international security force. They call it the ISAF, and that they may actually be able to enter into this into certain terror-free zones right now and begin to and put its forces in there. So we'll see what happens in that regard.
All right, good morning to you. Happy, what is it, Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's hot malt cider day.
There you
all
go.
Day.
He went out there and tried to get something, couldn't find it. Hey, do you know there's a part of this that was so interesting? You realize in the middle of all this negotiating, they're putting together this 20-point peace plan deal.
Yeah.
The president dials the president up of Qatar and hands the phone to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and tells him to apologize for bombing inside of Qatar and taking out the Hamas leaders.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And he did it.
And he did it.
I thought,
yeah.
Wow.
We've never seen stuff like this.
Well, I don't think, the other thing is this, I don't think President Trump, all right, look, he's got a lot of issues, but the point is that America is back so strong that nobody really wants to mess with it or lose the market that it represents.
Yeah.
The combination of military strength and economic strength puts him in a position that he's the power player.
Well, he knows what cards he holds. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out the weather. This is amazing, too.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rainy and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-60s from Vancouver and Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville, with a south wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy conditions and daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a south wind gusting up to 28 miles per hour. In central Oregon, increasing clouds and breezy in Prineville with a high near 71, a chance of showers breezy in mid-60s in Bend and Sun River. In Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and a thunderstorm with a high near 74. Rain with gusty winds along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-60s for Coos Bay and Port Orford, 59 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California, with a south wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, cloudy with a slight chance of showers in the Rogue Valley and highs in the upper 60s for Grants Pass and Ashland and low 70s in Medford. Mostly cloudy in Klamath Falls with a high in the low 60s. Into northern California, partly sunny, breezy in upper 60s in Wairika. A chance of showers with highs in the low 70s for Redding and Chico. A slight chance of showers in Sacramento, then partly sunny in mid 70s. In the Bay Area, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog in Santa Rosa and Napa, then partly sunny with highs in the low 70s. A slight chance of rain, then mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 71, and San Jose near 76. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a shot now that is back up over, you can't see McLaughlin, it's under a cloud, but when that camera turns to the left and you see the valley, it's socked in with a low marine air, better known as fog.
Hey, we forgot to touch base with our new friends in Las Vegas.
Oh.
Mostly cloudy through mid-morning, gradual clearing, a high near 89 with gusty winds this afternoon.
All right, and welcome our new audience, Las Vegas, Channel 6 down there.
How about that? Well, today is September 30th. It's an anniversary of both a high and a low point in the career of a guy who some call the greatest baseball player in history.
On September 30th, 1927, Babe Ruth cemented his legend in baseball history. In the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium, Ruth smashed his 60th home run of the season, setting a major league record that would stand for more than 3 decades. It was the perfect capstone to what many consider one of the greatest individual seasons in sports. And then, exactly 7 years later, on September 30th, 1934, Ruth took the field for the Yankees one final time. He went hitless in 3 at-bats, closing out his storied New York Yankee career. From the roar of his record-setting 60th homer to the quiet ending of his Yankee days, September 30th will always mark both the peak and the closing chapter of Babe Ruth's time in pinstripes.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm giving equal balance here because, I did a story on Fenway Park the other day, Boston Red Sox home.
Yeah, I know.
In fact, I had a young grandson who said, "Grandpa, I heard you talking about the Red Sox today on the radio."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, Turner, you can't avoid it sometimes."
Well, we're equal opportunity offenders.
Heavy on the offenders.
On the offenders.
Yes.
This next story, I really want to get it in. We're a little over time, but I want to get this in. This is a couple of weeks ago, Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke at the opening of the pilgrimage road there in the city of David. This is our Secretary of State. Listen to this.
It's an interesting thing about humanity. Almost anywhere in the world you go, and there are some incredible archaeological sites around the planet. I believe none as important as this one. But it is stunning how many of these archaeological sites, be they pyramids in Central America or pyramids in Egypt not far from here, were in some ways all defined by the desire to get closer to the divine. Something is programmed in the DNA of us as creatures that yearns to be closer to our Creator. This has been true across societies forever. But it was here, where a road led God's people to their Creator. It was here that a road led them to be as close as they possibly could, not just to the Creator of our species, but of the heavens and the earth and all the universe. And it strikes me as we stand here today to inaugurate this pilgrimage road, we are reminded that truly we are all pilgrims, seeking our own road towards our Creator, towards the divine. For deep inside of us, we all know that we were created for a purpose and for a reason, that our dignity comes from our Creator. We deeply believe in our country as a founding principle from the God of Abraham and Isaac. And to stand here today on the very road where not 2,000 years ago, so many from everywhere ventured to fulfill that desire to be closer to the Creator. It's a humbling and honoring experience. One more thing of note. As you go through the layers of history, you realize that all the civilizations that conquered this city, all the ones who tore it down and built on top, are all gone. The Roman Empire is no more, nor any of the others that sought to conquer and rule this land. But one people remain. They have returned. For God's promise is eternal, and it is perfect, and His word is always true. And I'm honored to be a part of its fulfillment here with you tonight. Thank you.
Whoa.
Can you believe that?
Oh, man. Wow. Secretary of State of the United States, and compare that against what an ex-Secretary of State is currently talking about Hillary.
Rush Limbaugh, the late Rush Limbaugh, said Marco Rubio will be president of the United States someday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did say that on several occasions.
I would say hear.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hanging on to every word you speak, 'cause it's all I need.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you today. I don't want to pray just when I need something or when things aren't going my way. I need you all the time, no matter what is going on, and I just want to say thank you. Even though things aren't perfect, you are, and your plan for me is. Thank you for your grace, for your mercy, for your unconditional love for me, and most of all, thank you for sending your Son Jesus to die for my sins to prove that unconditional love, that even while I was a sinner, he died for me. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Twin Factor is brought to you on the Dove TV by Black Flag Armory. Firearms, gunsmithing, training, and the best prices in Southern Oregon. Twin Factor, weekends on the Dove TV.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Morning to you. Welcome back to Mornings on the Dove. About 6 minutes before the top of the hour. Well, we saw the Crossfire Hurricane investigation play out, and George Papadopoulos, a former Trump policy advisor, was sent to prison as a result of it. Well, he was on Newsmax's America Right Now, and he comments on the Comey indictment.
Sure. At the personal level, I feel total and absolute vindication. And yes, I was pardoned by President Trump, something I'll always be grateful to the president for. Look, I just like to repeat what the president wrote on Truth Social. The dirty cop got caught. James Comey was a dirty cop who ran a dirty investigation, who then passed this investigation off to even more dirty cops like Robert Mueller and his thugs. So this entire scandal was a very disturbing chapter in American history in which the Department of Justice and basically the government apparatus was weaponized to interfere in our democratic process and to affect Donald Trump's first term. Now, there were many victims who were caught up in that crosshair and that plot against the president, including myself, the president. But most importantly, 75 to 80 million MAGA voters who voted for President Trump were ultimately victims of this. So I'm absolutely thrilled to see what's happening here with Comey, and I think we're going to see a lot more moving forward. I think we can't forget that President Trump did not indict James Comey. George Papadopoulos did not indict James Comey, even though I would have loved to be in that grand jury to do it myself. But a group of his peers in basically a blue district in Virginia indicted James Comey.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe the cycle's being broken.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch this play out because it's going to boil down to a lot of he said kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Testimony.
But okay, we'll see what goes.
Yeah.
All right, Brad Dacus will be with us. It's always good to have him, and he's president of the Pacific Justice Institute. And Professor Murray Sabrin will be with us, Dr. Sabrin, and we'll be talking about tariffs.
Oh. Okay.
It's a funny little thing that's going on around the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. Yep, come boldly to the throne today. There's a picture of that low-hanging marine air. I don't see any boats. Better known as fog.
Yeah.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making, and you've made it all possible by your faithful giving. Change is in the air, a difference you'll see. Mornings will never be the same. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Where big ideas grow.
I felt these shock waves going through my arms, my chest, my neck.
I look at the monitor and I see a cardiac dysrhythmia that's really lethal. The chances of coming back from that, less than 1%.
Everything became dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So I said, please help me, I'm dying.
The first thing was, Lord, I need your help.
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Like the Israelites of old, we today are being held captive in a pagan culture. Good is called evil, evil is being called good, and we are doing what is right in our own eyes. In reality, we have become captives by our own doing. We have turned our back on God. We've pushed him out of our nation, out of our schools, out of our homes, out of our lives. Are we today seeking the welfare of the city? Our national sins and shame have risen up, creating a stink in the nostrils of a holy God. The time is now to repent of our wrongdoings and to seek forgiveness for what we have done as a nation. Without that deep lamenting, without the anguished cries of repentance, can healing truly ever come to our land? Will God forever withhold his righteous judgment, a judgment in truth we rightfully deserve?
A ministry moment on the Dove.
It's been months in the making, and you've made it all possible. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, where Jerry Bilden does his morning exercise.
Well, I got to come someplace to do it.
So we're going to have a little section here in a little bit. He's going over there and going to do some push-ups, some chin-ups,
Yeah.
and he's going to do some right leg stretching.
Well, yeah. And then see if I can actually walk back on the set. Yeah, you bet.
There you go.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on this morning. As we speak, the president is addressing military leaders, and that was preceded by the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, giving quite a speech. And anyway, we'll drop in on that a little bit later on. A little bit of a reprieve in the rain, but you walk outside, you see the clouds. That's a low-hanging marine air over the top of us. Better known as fog.
Yeah.
Let's see what else going on. Boy, big deals in the Middle East. A 20-point deal. Is it going to work? Who knows?
Yeah.
And just all kinds of stuff going on. What's up?
Well, I'm not going to be going over there to do any exercising, but you do have a chance to exercise your jaw today because it's National Chewing Gum Day.
Ooh.
Yes. And, you know, grandpas carry lots of chewing gum with them because they're always asked, Grandpa, do you have gum? You have gum?
Really?
You have gum? Oh, all the time.
You give them bubble gum?
Yeah, give them bubble gum or mint gum, and then give them a choice. What do you want, bubble or mint? It's amazing to see how they go. But guess what they don't get anymore? Skittles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, RFK Jr. said the stuff in it's no good. You can't have that bright colored fruit.
So you want the sugar-filled gum.
There you go. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Enjoy your bubble gum or whatever kind of gum you like to chew. It's been around for around 5,000 years. How about that? Yeah, it's not double bubble either. And you know, the double bubble, that's what's in baseball dugouts these days. Because they, you know, in the minor leagues, they banned baseball players from chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
But not in the major leagues. But they still, a lot of guys develop the double bubble habit when they're in the minors now, and they have those big tubs in the dugouts.
Did you ever chew?
Tobacco?
Yeah.
No, my grandpa did. Yeah, he used to keep a spittoon on the hump on the front seat right there.
Yeah.
And we used to look at it once in a while just to gross us out.
Yeah. My dad did.
Yeah, and you know what? That'll cure you even before you start, won't it?
Yeah.
Just look in your grandpa's spittoon.
Well, especially when they miss.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, kind of right here.
Yeah. I rode in the back of his truck for years before I realized what was hitting me in the face.
Okay, well, it takes us to our next point, National Mud Pack Day.
Oh.
Not tobacco pack, but mud packs are mixtures of therapeutic clays when applied to the skin, increase circulation, ease muscle tension, release toxins, and boost immunity. And in fact, some mud packs are full body mud packs. They got these spas now where you just get your whole full body immersion.
Yeah, you get in the hot mud.
Yeah, that's okay. Well,
I'm not sure what that all means.
Enjoy, yeah. Remember, the pigs like it.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
You said that, I did.
I know. Well, you know, it's like getting in the mud with the pigs. Remember, the pigs like it. Anyway, it's also...
Jay Building at theDove.us.
And fast forward to, anyway, it is National Love People Day. And, you know, for people of faith, this is an everyday occurrence, isn't it? Isn't it like the greatest commandment?
You're supposed to.
Yeah, when they tried to trip up Jesus, you know. And I think a lot of us, if the religious elite of the day would say, what's the greatest commandment? We might start thinking about the 10 Commandments. Which one of those?
No,
Jesus didn't do that.
The greatest commandment is love your neighbor as yourself.
Absolutely. After you love the Lord your God with all your heart,
soul, and your mind and soul, yeah.
And strength.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And your neighbor as yourself.
Right. So keep that in mind.
The guy that you don't like as yourself.
Yeah.
Your enemy as yourself.
That's right. Even the neighbor who you're having a little property line dispute with right now.
Tax collector.
Hey, does anybody have property line disputes anymore?
Oh, gosh.
Huh?
Go down to the courthouse.
Do you want to know something? Do you know what law enforcement has these days? They have an app that shows you everybody's legal property line. They walk out sometimes with you know, domestics going on because of property lines, and they say, here it is, get over it. It's amazing what's available.
You know what else they have? I just found this out with Medford Police.
What?
If you can have your property designated as private property, and it puts it on a special app on the police. And if they're driving by and they see somebody on your property that's in that zone that says private property, they can arrest them for trespassing.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's great.
I just learned this out. I mean, I go, oh, gosh, I got it.
They should use that around all the ICE facilities anyway. But that's not private property. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. One thing to consume today, it is hot mulled cider day, a traditional fall and winter
smell
drink.
It now.
Yeah, heated
Alice,
cider.
whip some up for us. We need some hot cider with
yes,
orange and what else in it?
Nutmeg, cloves, and other spices. Then simmering it, and of course, just
that's right up your alley.
Scent alone.
Up your alley, Alice.
That's up your alley, Alice.
Can you take care of that for us?
Okay. Well, of course, you know, it's no secret I love to track the International Space Station, doing its orbit like just about every 90 minutes around the Earth, going around at just over 17,000 miles an hour. Yet, if they need a tool or some special material up there, it used to be, be like weeks or months before they could shuttle it up there, but not anymore, because now, you know what they do up there? They 3D print it. They email.
Really?
They email the tool up there. Yeah, because they have
Harbor Freight.
No, they have 3D printing up there. They have the additive manufacturing facility, which produces hardware on demand in space, and a metal 3D printer, and that's utilized for various applications. They have produced over 200 parts, including tools and educational materials, and is used for experiments and research in saving a lot of fuel. getting stuff up there. Send me a wrench. Send me, I don't have that socket up here. Could you send me that one? Wow. So they just email it up there, and they just print it out, and that's it.
So
what a
they have
deal.
the material to do that, huh?
Apparently so, yeah. They send the material. Yeah. Wow. So obviously the International Space Station is quite an endeavor up there right now. It's like, I think now it's about the size of like a 1,900 or 2,000 square foot home floating around in space around the Earth.
Oh, there you go.
And 2 3D printers.
Wow. Well, here's a guy that's been in orbit ever since his first kiss with Pam.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rainy and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-60s from Vancouver and Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville, with a south wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy conditions and daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a south wind gusting up to 28 miles per hour. In central Oregon, increasing clouds and breezy in Prineville with a high near 71, a chance of showers breezy in mid-60s in Bend and Sun River. In Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and a thunderstorm with a high near 74. Rain with gusty winds along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-60s for Coos Bay and Port Orford, 59 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California, with a south wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, cloudy with a slight chance of showers in the Rogue Valley and highs in the upper 60s for Grants Pass and Ashland and low 70s in Medford. Mostly cloudy in Klamath Falls with a high in the low 60s. Into northern California, partly sunny, breezy in upper 60s in Wairika. A chance of showers with highs in the low 70s for Redding and Chico. A slight chance of showers in Sacramento, then partly sunny in mid-70s. In the Bay Area, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog in Santa Rosa and Napa, then partly sunny with highs in the low 70s. A slight chance of rain, then mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 71, and San Jose near 76. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there you go. A little bit shows you how we have a little bit of fog out there this morning, and above that, some blue skies, but I guess possibility of some more rain clouds this afternoon.
Yep, I think we might get a little bit more. Okay. Well, do you remember when you came to Jesus? We all have our own conversion story, and Dr. Anthony George says your story is as unique as your fingerprint.
So, for instance, you see the Apostle Paul, and he was not only persecuting Christians, but maybe even had blood on his hands from being a part of the murder of Christians. And he's struck down on the road to Damascus, and the scales fall from his eyes, and now he's one of the greatest preachers of the gospel who ever lived. That's a radical conversion story. But if you got saved when you were 6, I dare say that's your story. I've been moved by stories of people who were strung out on heroin and smoked pot every day and slept with everything that moved. And all of a sudden, somebody brought them to church or to some discipleship home group. They got gloriously saved, never picked up a joint, never shot up, never slept around again, and they were delivered from all of that. You talk about from darkness to light. It's hard to say that happened to you when you were 10. I hope at least you didn't do all that stuff before you were 10 years old. So there are many people who will say, I just don't feel like my story is that dramatic. I don't have a Damascus Road experience. And what I say back to them is, guess what? Thank God your story is your story. Your salvation testimony is as unique as your fingerprint. Don't compare your testimony to someone else's testimony. Just thank God Jesus saved you. Whether you were 5, 55, or 85, that's your story, nobody else's. So tell your story about knowing Jesus.
Man,
yes,
that is the most convincing thing you can talk about.
Yeah,
is your story.
Yep.
All right, the president is still speaking. Does that surprise anybody? A speech that he started 4 weeks ago. No, he's addressing the leaders at the Department of War. Here it is.
I said, this place is a nightmare. It's certainly not the biggest, but it's one of the worst. It's brutal. They go after our ICE people, who are great patriots and tough job too, but they love it. They love it because they're cleaning up our country. And so you look at some of the things where they took over parts of Seattle. They actually took over a big percentage of Seattle. Think of that. You remember that. That was a while ago. And I sent in the troops and they were gone. As soon as I sent them in, Oh, when we send in the troops, if you have a real leader that says you got to do what you have to do, I put that out the other day. You got to do what you got to do because we don't want our people hurt as they stand by. I was watching during Biden, there were troops standing up like this, brave, standing up at attention, the way I should stand all the time. And I'm like this, and people are standing, their mouth is this far away from their mouth, and they're spitting at him, and they're screaming at him. And that soldier standing there, he wants to knock the hell out of the person, but he's not allowed to do anything. So they just stand there and they get abused. And a woman was this far away from his face, and she starts spitting in his face, and he's not allowed to do anything. If it's okay with you, generals and admirals, I've taken that off. I say, they spit, we hit. Is that okay? I think so. They spit, it's a new thing. They spit, we hit. How about the cars where the cars are coming out? They get brand new cars, Border Patrol, ICE, beautiful, nice new cars. And they're driving along and they have to go through a gauntlet of rocks being thrown at the car. So here's this beautiful brand new car. By the time it goes 100 yards, it's destroyed. These guys have pretty good arms, some of them. And they're throwing bricks at full force into the window and into the car. It looks like it's a war zone. And I said, never let that happen again. From now on, if that ever happens, and I say it here, you get out of that car and you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Because those people are you can die from that. Those bricks go through the windows. You can die. They'd like it to. They'd like it to go through the window. But this was a couple of months ago. They just kept driving and bricks are hitting the car. And I said, why aren't they stopping? Because they were under orders from the past administration, never stop. But that's different with us. We stop. And since I gave that order, we haven't had that problem.
Well, that's also in reference to the troops that he sent into Portland.
Absolutely, and there's still a lot of denial from the left about what's actually going on up there, but he put it quite well. That is the situation.
Well, it is. I bumped into people yesterday that are upset with him doing the Portland thing, and I said, are you aware of what's really going on?
Yeah.
And they're only aware with what news source they look at. Right. And I guess that's the problem today. Will we ever really know what the truth is?
Right.
But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some of the other headlines this morning. Vice President Vance yesterday met with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and pretty much are saying that the government is heading for a shutdown tomorrow, October 1st. But here's a clip of not only the Vice President talking about it, but more importantly, listen to Speaker Johnson explain the situation.
You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American health care policy is broken. Well, we know that American health care policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American health care is policy the Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American health care policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together, but let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do, and the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see. I'll let the Speaker say a few words.
This is the common sense thing to do. This is the right thing to do. This is the simple thing to do. By way of review, the House is getting back to the way the regular appropriations process is supposed to work. 12 separate appropriations bills passed through the House Appropriations Committee, 3 off the floor. The Senate doing their work as well. All this in bipartisan fashion, by the way. They passed 3 bills in the Senate. Those bills don't match up exactly. So for the first time in years, since 2019, you have a conference committee that is being constituted between the House and the Senate. This is the way a bill becomes a law. They work out the differences. All this is happening in bipartisan fashion. The problem is we run out of clock. September 30th is the end of the fiscal year, so we need a little more time. So what we did in the Republican majority is the right, responsible, simple thing. A clean, continuing resolution, a short-term, nonpartisan continuing resolution. It's only 24 pages in length. Leader Thune has a copy if you want to see the exhibit. There's nothing partisan in here. No policy writers, none of our big party preferences, because we want to do the right thing by the American people and allow more time for negotiation.
See, I think that's the problem. The average person doesn't know the process.
Yeah.
Congress moves at glacier speeds on some things like this. And when you have to have 12 points to an appropriation bill, you don't get that through a committee overnight.
Right.
It takes time. Now, the bad part about it is we really haven't had a balanced budget since the Clinton administration. But the problem that the Democrats are having, this budget cuts a lot of fat out, and they just don't like that. And so that's the battle that's going on, so we'll keep you posted. The other story I have for you this morning is kind of interesting. As you know, we made very clear we were one of the first people to get booted off of YouTube during the COVID deal. Not for anything we said on the air, but things that our guests said on the air.
That you allowed your guests to keep talking.
And we were accused of, quote, disinformation, which at the time those high-tech people thought they were the arbiters of all truth. And so they kicked us off, and at the time they took over 15,000 of our videos. And we fought this. We were asked to join all kinds of lawsuits. Our complaint was, no, yes, it's a free speech problem, but really our problem is when you took our 15,000 videos, which, by the way, you post something on these platforms.
It's theirs.
It's theirs.
Yeah, you bet.
But they took our 15,000 videos, and we lost over $100,000 a year in income during that time. I mean, it hurt really bad. And so in the meantime, out of the blue, I get this. I have it on my file upstairs in my office.
Yeah.
I have probably a letter that will sell for millions someday from YouTube apologizing.
Did they send a check with it?
No.
What? Well, wait a minute. The president got one?
That's my point. The president sued YouTube for the same thing we got booted off for. He got suspended for. He sues them because he owns, 14 different law firms. And won $24.5 million.
Oh, man.
Gosh, I should have attached the dove to that one.
No kidding.
Yeah. But anyway, he wins another one.
Another one, yes.
Okay. The other big story is that there's a 20-point Gaza peace plan that's out there. The president has put this together. Apparently, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has bought in, and here's what the president has to say about it.
I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do. Everyone understands that the ultimate result must be the elimination of any danger posed in the region. And the danger is caused by Hamas. The tyranny of terror has to end, and this is, again, something that we're looking for. This is eternity. This is for forever. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it. And we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, good man, very good man, and some others.
Well, we'll see where it goes. 20 points, and all 20 are pretty strong, but to your point, is nowhere in there to call for a two-state solution.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so this is going to heat up over the next couple of days. And the last story is you know, President Putin now has become pretty slippery, and Trump is pretty upset with the fact that he can't really seem to get any direction out of the guy.
Yeah.
He flies drones over Poland. He flies military jets over other NATO nations' airspace.
Strike civilians.
He's still striking civilian sites.
Right.
Well, Ukraine launched a strike yesterday, and they didn't go after a school. They didn't go after a hospital. They didn't go after apartment houses. They directly hit a power plant, a major thermal power plant. And it has plunged a large parts of Russia's cities into darkness. So it's pretty interesting. I have to ask the question: where are they getting their intelligence?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is
now. Was this missile? Was this drone? Do we know how they executed this?
It was missiles.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty interesting, isn't it?
Wow.
All right. We'll take a. What do we have? Oh, this
hot mulled cider.
Cider with cinnamon
Spices.
sticks
Yes.
and some orange peel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a little muffin on the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the little seeds on it to make it feel funny. We'll be right back.
And if the road gets rough, just keep your head
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Something very big is happening at the Dove. Change is in the air. A difference you'll see. What is it? Watch coming soon. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
15 years in the making. The Dove is spreading its wings and soaring higher. Exciting things are coming soon on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Welcome back. Happy Tuesday to you. And a lot going on in the news, but a little backyard news. As you know, our Oregon legislature on the Friday before Labor Day went into special session, and it's kind of been hanging in there for quite a while, and it was all over a $350 million shortfall in the Department of Transportation. Instead of taking money out of the rainy day fund, and fixing the problem, because they obviously use layoffs as the emotional reason. They couldn't get it through the Oregon legislature during the normal session, so the governor calls the legislature back into special session. They've been in special session since that Friday, and which in itself was very expensive. But they've been waiting for a senator who was in the hospital, now came back, to pass the largest tax increase in the state's history. This is absolutely ludicrous. And what makes it really so bad is this. They passed it last night. The vote was 18-11. What makes it so bad were the thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of no's that they got sent to the legislature from all 36 counties. People in all 36 counties weighed in, don't do this. And the Democrats don't care. They did it anyway. So now you're going to have a gas increase at 6 cents. You're going to have double your price of your payroll tax, which just grinds me into the ground. Not to mention all the other, your registration fees. All that stuff's going to go up. And it was supposed to solve a $350 million problem. You know what they did?
What?
Over 10 years, $4.3 billion. And some of the money is not earmarked.
What does that mean?
It's not going to go directly to ODOT.
Where does it go?
Where does it go?
Yeah.
I don't know, teaching kids about gender identity. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
This is so irresponsible. This is why. Well, I'll tell you what, and I'll just be real honest. It's going to prevent us from hiring people, and it's going to cause other businesses to say, we had enough of this, we're gone. And this is the hypocrisy of this whole stupid thing, is the Democrats always were all here for the middle class. You just bankrupt the middle class.
They don't care, no.
You put another 6 cents on the highest gas tax in the United States is the West Coast, and you just added another 6 cents to it.
Yeah.
Hey, do you understand where I feel on that one? Thought I'd just let you know.
I think a lot of people do.
I got to cool off. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's go to Youth 715 website and buy some things. And I have to say that Bud Amundsen and his team and Youth 715, I tell you what, they're kind of like a silent hurricane of helping young people across the board. And this is their annual online auction, and all these items are donated by people. And thank you for everyone that donated to this. And you can go there and you can bid on these things. You got another week or so to do this. So go to Youth 715, help them out. They do a great job. They lost a $300,000 grant because of wokeness at our state, and so did our buddy over there, Kevin at Hearts with the Mission. He lost one because he wouldn't deal with gender identity.
Oh, yeah.
And so Christian organizations stand up for the truth. God's not broke. He'll take care of it another way.
Okay.
And this is one way to do it. Go online at Youth 715 and get into the auction.
Yes.
And go for it.
If you want to get there, their website is 715.org. It's 71 and then the word 5.org. Right on the front page, first thing you touch is the auction button.
Yeah.
It'll take you right to the site of the auction.
Now, what you don't know, and I mean, there's pizza, there's car repair, there's
Pizza, I love
dog
that.
repair,
Yeah.
there's salons, there's everything, there's food, everything is on there. Now, what you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm bidding on to raise the price.
You see that number keep going up?
Well,
that might give you an indication.
You don't
who's
know what I'm
behind it.
doing on this website. Now, I could get stuck and own a lot of stuff.
You're right.
But I don't care.
Well, you'll be funding a good cause.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So go to youth715.org and get on there. All right. So much for all that. Let's take a look at Wall Street for this Tuesday morning. Thank you, Preston, over there at Smartlawn. He's the dude. The Dow's off 7 points, not a whole lot. The Nas is off 43, almost 44 points, and the S&P down almost 6.5 points. So a little ringing of the bell, produced some red ink, probably the instability of just life. Gold still at 38.51. Silver down a few pennies, 46.28. Crude oil, hey, down a whole buck, 67.28 or 66.28. So there we go.
Yeah, everywhere except the West Coast.
Well, we just added 6 cents to it.
Yeah, so ours, when it's going down everywhere else, get ready to pay more.
We have the highest
here.
prices.
Yeah, the whole left coast.
California, Oregon, and Washington have the highest gas taxes.
Yep.
We have the fewer refineries because we shut them all down.
Right.
And now we got this nonsense going on.
Yeah.
This is
well.
crazy.
Well, we look at the state of affairs, and especially in regards to anti-Semitism. And we're seeing anti-Semitism rise to a level that perhaps has not been seen since the 1930s in a prelude to World War II. Well, Alan Dershowitz joined Newsmax's Greta Van Susteren, and he talked about these parallels. Let's listen in.
Man sitting behind me while I watched Netanyahu's son was kidnapped. They all thought he was alive, and then they discovered he had been murdered. So the people who were in the audience remember October 7th. But as Netanyahu said, October 7th for Israel would be as if 40,000 Americans had been killed on 9/11, and women raped and children beheaded. This was the worst thing that's ever happened to Jewish people since the Holocaust. And when you see all these bigoted countries walking out on only one country, the only nation state of the Jewish people anywhere in the world, you really have to think back to the 1930s and say, yes, Israel is isolated just the way the Jews were isolated in 1930s and 1940s. The difference is the Jews couldn't fight back then. Now, fortunately, there's an army, a very strong army that has destroyed much of Hamas, much of Hezbollah, much of the Iranian nuclear facilities. If only that army had existed in the 1930s and 1940s, we wouldn't have seen the Holocaust.
Great point. Oh.
Absolutely despicable.
Yep.
And the the purpose of the UN now is just gone.
It's gone, and
it's gone.
How do we get out?
Well, I don't know what the charter calls for, the American part of that, but once we start funding it, I mean, there's two ways to get out. You just you announce you're getting out, and I don't know if there's a term to that.
Yeah.
Guess what? You know what? Get kicked out. Stop paying a bill.
Yeah, why pay it? In fact, we pay the lion's share of the funding to the UN. We pay literally billions of dollars every year, and in fact, they won't even give us the exact number because it floats.
Well, we are key. If we pull out and we stop funding and the thing dries up, kick it out. I mean, this is now ridiculous.
And the building sits on a piece of prime real estate that may one day be a Trump Tower. I
encouraging him to do that, but if he's out of office, he may take a run at it. But look, the bottom line is that the UN is. Let me say this to the Christian community: wake up.
Yeah.
What you saw there was biblical.
Mm-hmm.
All nations will turn against Israel. That was one of the biggest displays of that in modern times, where they all got up and walked out.
Yeah.
The only ones that stayed there was the United States and Israel, and I think a couple of the little small countries.
Yeah.
All the other major countries got up and turned their back and walked out, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu
from Iran. They would get up for Hezbollah.
Wake up, folks. This is serious as a heart attack, and if your Bible is absolutely true, and you need to understand that it's true, it doesn't change, it is the truth. You need to stick your nose in there, and you need to get this for yourself.
Amen.
And what you saw there was very fulfilling of prophecy. Well, every nation got up and walked out. That's my 2 cents. I'm sticking with it. All right. So much for hot cider. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Every day in Southern Oregon, lives are shaken by poverty, violence, and hardship. Last year alone, the Salvation Army reached more than 11,000 people in Jackson County with food, shelter, and critical support. Behind every meal served, every family housed, and every life restored, there's a volunteer making it happen. Please join us. There are many ways you can volunteer and make a difference in someone's life today. The Salvation Army doing the most good together. This message made possible by the Oregon Health Authority Hospital Base Intervention Grant.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making, and you've made it all possible by your faithful giving. Change is in the air, a difference you'll see. Mornings will never be the same. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
All right, good morning to you. 25 minutes before the hour. Let's check in with, where are we here? Oh, CBN.
Yeah.
Is that where we are?
All day.
All day. Sorry about that. My brain's a little crazy. Anyway, CBN News Watch and their reaction to the 20-point peace plan.
This is CBN News Watch. And we begin this half hour with President Trump's peace plan for the Middle East as the U.S., Israel, and other countries await reaction from Hamas, with the president saying if Hamas does not agree, Israel will have the administration's full support to do what it has to do against the terrorist group. CBN's Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has the story now. She's reporting from Jerusalem.
At a joint press conference, President Trump presented his comprehensive plan for peace in the Middle East.
So today is a historic day for peace.
He thanked leaders of Arab and Muslim nations, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Jordan, Turkey, and Indonesia.
It's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East.
The proposal includes the return of 48 hostages, about 20 of whom are believed to still be alive, within 72 hours of signing the agreement in exchange for 250 Palestinian prisoners and an immediate end to the war.
Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas.
Hamas terrorists who lay down their weapons will receive amnesty and passage out. Trump said it's up to Hamas now to agree to the deal.
But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
Netanyahu said he supports Trump's plan because it achieves Israel's war aims.
It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
Earlier, Netanyahu apologized to Qatar officials for the recent attempt to target Hamas leaders in Qatar. If Hamas agrees to the plan, the first step will be a modest Israeli withdrawal and the release of the hostages.
The next step will be the establishment of an international body charged with fully disarming Hamas and demilitarizing Gaza.
That body is dubbed the Board of Peace, headed by Trump and including regional countries. As to a future Palestinian state, Trump's plan calls for reforms in the Palestinian Authority, which could create conditions for, quote, a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. Netanyahu says the reforms must be deep and permanent.
And that means ending pay to slay, changing the poisonous textbooks that teach hatred to Jews, to Palestinian children, stopping incitement in the media, ending lawfare against Israel at the ICC, the ICJ, recognizing the Jewish state, and many, many other reforms.
As Netanyahu heads back to Israel, the world waits to see if Hamas will sign on to the deal. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, what is the reaction in the Israeli government and the public to this peace plan?
Well, right now the reaction, Ephraim, is mixed. The political operation leaders, they're supporting the plan that would include Yair Lapid, Benny Gantz, Hostage Families Forum. That's the one that recognizes or advocates for many of the hostage families. They're supporting their plan. They're saying they're taking a breath of relief from this press conference yesterday. The Tikva Forum, which is usually in opposition to that Hostage Families Forum, they said it actually was consistent with their principles to release all the hostages at once, and that if Hamas reneges, then Israel can go ahead and do what it can to continue to destroy Hamas. So many, they're kind of mixed reactions on both sides. There are others who are saying, like Avi Abelo, we interviewed him earlier today for Jerusalem Dateline. He believes this opens the door to Qatar. Many people have said Hamas is Qatar and Qatar Hamas. They're a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, so that it brings Qatar into the equation, which he thinks in the long run could be very dangerous for the Jewish state.
Is there a concern, could Hamas sign on to this plan just to gain time and try to quietly rebuild its forces?
It remains to be seen, Ephraim, how much Hamas can do right now. Their military capability has been reduced significantly. Right now, the IDF controls the borders, and it really signals right now we're hearing that Hamas really doesn't support the deal. They're calling it Trump's plan in certain articles that are allied with Hamas. Is Netanyahu's plan, it says, and it achieves for Netanyahu what he failed on the battlefield. So it remains to be seen if this is going to be supported by by Hamas at all, and whether the deal will be signed. But what this plan also does, Ephraim, it opens the door for what they call an international security force. They call it the ISAF, and that they may actually be able to enter into this, into certain terror-free zones right now, and begin to and put its forces in there. So we'll see what happens in that regard.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Part of the deal was yesterday, well, when they were negotiating all this, is that the president called the president of Qatar, hands the phone to Benjamin Netanyahu and tell him to apologize for bombing inside of Qatar for the Hamas officials. And he did.
And he does.
So many olive branches have been extended here. So if Hamas turns this down, I think at least both sides, I should say both sides, I would say the United States, other countries, Muslim countries in the Middle East who are working for peace, and Israel can say to the world, we tried everything.
Yeah.
Now we have to finish the job.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, we have highs and lows. Oh, you know what? We got to do...
well, we have highs and lows with a guy that's high and
high
low.
pressure and low pressure.
Yeah, and you never know which way his blood pressure is going, but here he is.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rainy and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-60s from Vancouver and Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville, with a south wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy conditions and daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a south wind gusting up to 28 miles per hour. In central Oregon, increasing clouds and breezy in Prineville with a high near 71, a chance of showers breezy in mid-60s in Bend and Sun River. In Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and a thunderstorm with a high near 74. Rain with gusty winds along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the mid-60s for Coos Bay and Port Orford, 59 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California, with the south wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, cloudy with a slight chance of showers in the Rogue Valley and highs in the upper 60s for Grants Pass and Ashland and low 70s in Medford. Mostly cloudy in Klamath Falls with a high in the low 60s. Into northern California, partly sunny, breezy in upper 60s in Wairika. A chance of showers with highs in the low 70s for Redding and Chico. A slight chance of showers in Sacramento, then partly sunny in mid-70s. In the Bay Area, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog in Santa Rosa and Napa, then partly sunny with highs in the low 70s. A slight chance of rain, then mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 71, and San Jose near 76. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Hi, there's a little bit of a layer over the top of us this morning. You see above it pretty nice. Might see that increased clouds, but right now it's just kind of socked in the valley.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, so I haven't heard any planes leaving this morning, so maybe below minimums.
Maybe. Well, you know, we're talking about highs and lows. You know, high pressure brings us clear skies, low pressure brings us, you know, the rain.
Right.
Well, we also have highs and lows in our life.
Yeah.
And do you ever remember the dates of the highs and the low points of your life?
Do you ever forget them?
I never forget. May 22nd, high point. March 21st, low point.
What was March 21st?
Shattered my tibia and my fibula.
Oh, that
one. May 22nd goes without saying.
That's your anniversary.
It's that one right there.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, this was a day of a extreme high and a low for a guy that many have called the greatest baseball player who ever lived.
On September 30th, 1927, Babe Ruth cemented his legend in baseball history. In the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium, Ruth smashed his 60th home run of the season, setting a major league record that would stand for more than 3 decades. It was the perfect capstone to what many consider one of the greatest individual seasons in sports. And then, exactly 7 years later, on September 30th, 1934, Ruth took the field for the Yankees one final time. He went hitless in 3 at-bats, closing out his storied New York Yankee career. From the roar of his record-setting 60th homer to the quiet ending of his Yankee days, September 30th will always mark both the peak and the closing chapter of Babe Ruth's time in pinstripes.
How about that? And it also marks the opening of the baseball playoffs.
Well, you got that
September 30th today. The Yankees play the Red Sox.
Well, the Yankees got any better fit players than Babe Ruth?
Better? Yeah, can you say Aaron Judge? You know, it's funny, too, because I have a grandson who heard me do the story on Fenway Park, which is the home of the Boston Red Sox. I did it last week and goes, Grandpa, I heard you do a story about the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
I said, so last night I told him, you better listen in tomorrow because we're doing one on Babe Ruth. He
Okay.
goes, oh, okay. So, but we play today. It's
Do your grandkids chew?
Just bubble gum. Just bubble gum.
Okay. So much for that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I was stunned when during the Charlie Kirk memorial, I mean, I'm still trying to process that through my head, but when Secretary of State Marco Rubio got up and spoke, it was stunning. I mean, he just flat preached the gospel. Well, here he was a few weeks earlier at the opening of the Pilgrimage Road in the city of David, and he gave a speech at the event. Listen to this.
It's an interesting thing about humanity. Almost anywhere in the world you go, and there are some incredible archaeological sites around the planet. I believe none as important as this one. But it is stunning how many of these archaeological sites, be they pyramids in Central America or pyramids in Egypt not far from here, were in some ways all defined by the desire to get closer to the divine. Something is programmed in the DNA of us as creatures that yearns to be closer to our Creator. This has been true across societies forever. But it was here, where a road led God's people to their Creator. It was here that a road that led them to be as close as they possibly could, not just to the Creator of our species, but of the heavens and the earth and all the universe. And it strikes me as we stand here today to inaugurate this pilgrimage road, we are reminded that truly we are all pilgrims, seeking our own road towards our Creator, towards the divine. For deep inside of us, we all know that we were created for a purpose and for a reason, that our dignity comes from our Creator. We deeply believe in our country as a founding principle from the God of Abraham and Isaac. And to stand here today on the very road where not 2,000 years ago, so many from everywhere ventured to fulfill that desire to be closer to the Creator is a humbling and honoring experience. One more thing of note. As you go through the layers of history, you realize that all the civilizations that conquered this city, all the ones who tore it down and built on top, are all gone. The Roman Empire is no more, nor any of the others that sought to conquer and rule this land. But one people remain. They have returned. For God's promise is eternal, and it is perfect, and His word is always true. And I'm honored to be a part of its fulfillment here with you tonight. Thank you.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Isn't that amazing?
That is, yeah.
Another quote given to me today. We cannot continue to send our children to Caesar for their education and then be surprised when they come home as Romans.
Well said. Very well put.
So much stuff out there. All right, let's take a hot cider break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Up on the heights, oh, oh, you let me go, oh, oh, you make my heart to...
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making, and you've made it all possible by your faithful giving. Change is in the air, a difference you'll see. Mornings will never be the same. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Okay, welcome back on a beautiful Tuesday morning. A lot going on in the news. Newsmax, they have a program called America Right Now. George Papadopoulos, he got tangled up with the whole Russia collusion thing.
Yep.
And he was a foreign policy advisor to President Trump on his first term. Anyway, he got pardoned, and he discussed an airtight case that Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have against Comey.
It's never a good situation for the prosecution team when you have an Obama or a Democrat-appointed judge presiding over a very monumental case, a very unprecedented case. We've never actually had an FBI director not only indicted, but also facing trial on two serious charges. These are charges that, the Comey can end up sitting in prison for 5 to 20 years. This isn't about jaywalking. This isn't a small charge. So clearly that might affect what type of evidence is presented to the court. But besides that, I think that the government and AG Bondi and Kash Patel and others who have worked on this case have such an airtight case that not even a Democrat-appointed judge can stand in the face of what's inevitably coming. Kash Patel has stated himself that the government is looking at a likely 10-year-long government conspiracy case against the Democrats, including the DNC, the Hillary Clinton Foundation, Hillary Clinton herself, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, others. You also have John Brennan, who was put under criminal investigation the same exact day that James Comey was put under criminal investigation just about a month ago. So I think people like John Brennan, people who are likely working underneath John Brennan at the FBI with Jim Comey, those are likely going to be the next targets, including John Bolton, who also had his home raided regarding classified information. So I think AG Bondi is going to have a very she's going to have her hands filled with many cases moving forward, I believe.
Well, of course, this will be seen as retaliation, but of course, it is what it is. I mean, these were bad people doing bad things, and now, you don't break God's laws break you. All right, I have Brad Dacus coming up. Always good to see him. It's been a while since I've had him on. We got a lot to talk about, in particular, parental rights and religious freedoms and things against Christians in general, not only Christian organizations, but individuals. We'll talk about that.
Hey, do you have any wild animals around your residence?
Yeah.
Yeah? What are they?
I had a fox. I got a bunch of deer, seeing a coon.
As long as they don't get in the trash,
no,
you're okay.
I have a couple of neighbors that could be in that category.
Okay, well, there are residents of a Northern California neighborhood who are being warned about a dangerous animal in their neighborhood, and it is a squirrel.
Residents of San Rafael's Lucas Valley neighborhood are warning of an unusual and unusually aggressive threat, a rogue squirrel. Joan Heblack says she was on her morning walk when the animal suddenly clamped onto her leg. Another neighbor, Isabel Campboy, ended up in the ER after she and her daughter were attacked. Even Marie Ayoub's husband, Joe, wasn't spared. When he tried to shoo the squirrel away from their fence, it jumped straight onto his head. Flyers are now posted in the community warning, "Attack squirrel, beware. This is not a joke. More than 5 people have been attacked." Experts at the local Wildcare Wildlife Hospital say squirrels don't carry rabies, but one that's been hand-fed by people can grow aggressive when it's hungry and doesn't know how to forage. For now, neighbors are on alert for what they're calling their very mean squirrel.
So do you feed it or extract it?
Yeah, I think at this point in time you extract it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look out.
Okay, well, hello, Charlie.
Yeah.
You need some fast dogs out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think a cat would take care of it?
No,
Okay.
it's faster than a cat.
All right.
Hebrews 4:16, let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. So come boldly to the Lord today. Enjoy a beautiful day once that cloud breaks up. Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Lizer with Lizer Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. Find out coming soon.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and always delighted. In fact, it's been too long. So honored to have back with us our good friend, Brad Dacus. Brad is president of the Pacific Justice Institute, and you can go to Pacific Justice Institute or PJI there and check it out. And Brad and his team literally all over the country now defending your rights. And a lot of it's pro bono. So I encourage you to check them out and support them. They're frontline warriors doing work for you. and what we believe in. Brother Brad, it's been way too long. How you doing, friend?
Doing just great, just great.
And by the way, we're honored to carry his program here, and you'll see it throughout the week on the Dove television network. Wow, where do I start? How did Charlie Kirk's assassination impact you?
Yeah, the first day I was in shock. The second day I was grieving. But after that, I have a real peace and joy about how God is going to be using it and is using it in a very positive way for his kingdom. We see a lot of these vigils have resulted in young people coming forward to profess to receive Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. We see an emboldening taking place among young people on campuses. You know, we at Pacific Justice Institute, before Charlie's passing, pledged to him and Turning Point USA that we would represent every single one of their chapters at every high school, university, college, every single one without charge. We have reaffirmed that commitment despite the fact that we're going to probably be very busy now that estimates are over 100,000 requests have come in to start Turning Point USA chapters across the country. We stand ready. We uniquely have 36 offices coast to coast. We have the largest footprint of its kind, of any organization of our kind, and we stand ready and equipped and committed to defending those chapters to see God really be glorified despite what man meant for evil.
There seems to be a spirit of boldness that's come out of this, not only for free speech and religious freedom, but at the same time, we're seeing free speech and religious freedom countered at a level that we haven't seen before. What do you think?
Yeah, darkness hates the light. That's, it's very clear in Scripture. And because the light convicts, and people either respond with that conviction with a heart of repentance to turn away, or a stronger resolution to oppose the light. And that's what we see happening, as well as people waking up and giving their lives to Christ. We also see other people doubling down in their sick wickedness. We see, we hear professors, teachers, people of influence out there saying, oh yeah, this is fine. A poll showed that more than half of those identifying as liberal have said that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was, quote, understandable, end quote. That should have no place in our society. The assassination, the murder of any innocent person is never, quote, understandable. So we have there's a deep darkness in our society, in our culture, that we have not seen exhibited, I think, at any time, at least in my lifetime. And yet we see God moving in a very unique, powerful way throughout the United States, young people coming to churches. I was in Norway recently speaking there, and I visited a Bible bookstore, and they said, oh, God's moving. She says, the last 2 years, we have young people flooding our churches, coming into the churches, young people. So the Holy Spirit's moving, and the question is for believers is, are we going to be observant? Are we going to participate and engage in prayer warfare and intercession? Are we going to be inviting people to church? Are we going to be open about our testimony and the hope that's within us? I think that's the challenge of today, along with the Pacific Justice Institute defending the right for us to be able to do that, and to keep open those doors of opportunity for organizations like Turning Point USA.
Someone has said that the Charlie Kirk assassination has awakened the silent morality in this country. You can read a lot into that, but I think it speaks for itself. What do you think?
Yeah, we have seen large established organizations. We saw Crackle Barrel, try to do their woke, if you will, with rainbow-colored rocking chairs, and the people responded to that. Southwest Airlines was open and in your face with their LGBTQ, quote, pride and bragging about it. We've seen, large companies and these entities trying to push this, but now I see a different direction, not just in terms of pushback and retreat on DEI, but also specifically on policies that promote evil and wickedness and and persecution of people who don't agree with it. I see an emboldenment taking place. Needless to say, we and our attorneys stand ready. We already have new cases coming in on behalf of believers who are standing firm in their faith. I just recently spoken I won't say where, but I recently spoke to business owners about how they have a right to, as CEOs, to legally evangelize. So there's a lot of empowerment taking place in North Carolina. I was just there speaking at a church, preaching at a church in North Carolina, and addressing this issue of emboldenment and how we have a responsibility as believers to live our faith and not be complacent, not be comfortable in our faith, but to be zealous and committed with our faith.
Brad, there seems to be an area, I'm sure you're aware of this because you have the situation up there with the Truth Family Bible Church in Idaho, but in the area of education, and in particular working with state agencies, a lot of, I would say, faith-based organizations that have been receiving grants or access to buildings in the past are now being denied because they won't go along with gender identity and other things. Are these defendable cases?
Yeah, those churches and organizations being persecuted, they've got great cases. Because what this really amounts to is the government engaging in selective bigotry and discrimination, saying, oh, you're Episcopal, you're First United Methodist, you have a rainbow flag, and you think these sex acts and sexual identities and sexual lifestyles is wonderful. Okay, yeah, we the government will help you. We'll help promote your religion, your denominations. You can rent here. You can get a grant here. But if you're a Christian and you're solid in the Bible and what the God's word says, then no, we're going to treat you differently. That is a violation of the Establishment Clause, which prohibits government being hostile to one religious group or another like this and being selective like this. So that's how we see it. The majority on the Supreme Court knows it. Justice Jackson and Sotomayor, maybe Kagan doesn't always get it, but the majority do. And we're very confident as these cases go up that we're going to see vindication and the proper decisions for religious freedom for everyone.
So what is that case there at the Family Bible Church in Idaho? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's a really important case. It's a big case that we have in Idaho where a church has been renting a charter school facility, no problem. But then the charter school has decided that they want to have bonds. And they concluded, well, gee, we can't get bonds passed if we're renting to a Christian school, a religious entity, or a church, a religious entity, because that would violate the state Blaine Amendment. Now, the Blaine Amendment was passed in many states in the 1800s to overtly prevent Catholic schools, parochial schools, and Catholics from getting any kind of assistance from the government. So they had the Blaine Amendment. But it now is being used as a strict separationist language in state constitutions to persecute and sterilize religion from the public square anywhere. It's just it's the anti-religion amendment is what it really is. It's unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has already hit the Blaine Amendment in more than one case in the past, not too long ago. But it's time for a final knockout punch. And we think that this case is going to do just that. The good news, we already won in the first round of this boxing match. The federal district court judge ruled that it's a violation of the First Amendment. And for them to be hostile to this church simply and solely because they're religious. And in so doing, the Blaine Amendment is on the chopping block. I think the Supreme Court, if it goes that far, we'll see them affirm that lower court decision.
I mean, this is really important because so many churches get their start by renting schools, before they get their own facility. I mean, this could have a great impact on that if it's not kicked out.
Oh, yeah. And we at Pacific Justice Institute for over 25 years now, we've been defending churches when they're told they can't rent because they're religious, and or they have to pay more in rent than other nonprofits because they're religious. We've dealt with those before where we've been successful, but it's time to get this to the Supreme Court to get rid of these Blaine amendments, which is a pretext for religious bigotry and hostility by people who don't like institutions of faith. So this is a a wonderful move in the right direction. We're seeing a lot of great positive things on the legal front. We're going to see a lot of challenges, like, for example, the Turning Point USA chapters is just one example. These pronoun cases are all over the country, but we're seeing those are going to make their way to the Supreme Court. And in so doing, I'm very confident we're going to have more opportunity. But with that opportunity, more responsibility for the body of Christ to live their faith boldly for such a time as this.
No question about it. I want to jump out of the box and just ask you one little side question. There's so many cases now where parents realize that their child has been propagandized in a school and led down this gender identity path. Why hasn't there been more child abuse cases filed against schools for doing this?
That's a good question. And one of the probably the number one reason is that that parents are afraid because if they file a lawsuit, then they're afraid that their child is going to be harassed, stigmatized, treated hostilely by unprofessional public school teachers. And I like to think that they're all professional and they don't attack kids. That's baloney. These zealots out here have rainbow flags in the classroom, et cetera. They do attack kids. And oftentimes they try to secretly groom children. We at the Pacific Justice Institute, we stand ready to defend anyone in that situation. But it takes some courage to do that, and we understand that. We do all our work without charge in all 50 states, and we just encourage anyone out there who wants representation or may not be aware that there's groups like Pacific Justice who don't just cherry pick a certain few cases, but really work hard to make sure that everyone gets help. That's our goal. They should contact us at our website, pji.org, and they also should download 12 Steps to Protect Your Children from CPS or social workers. That's a whole nother front we're fighting, with children being taken from Christian families because the parents refuse to encourage gender confusion and gender distortion.
All right, pji.org. Go there, support them, and download their material. Just back to one more question on that, Brad. Isn't basically what's being done in school with these kids and teachers that have that agenda, isn't that fundamentally child abuse?
Yeah, it is. And I think the Supreme Court is ready to throw it down. They had a great decision with the Maynard versus Taylor case out of Maryland. Supreme Court made it very clear parents have a fundamental right over the education upbringing of their children, including when it comes to propaganda materials, indoctrination materials that violate their faith. Clear-cut decision. We have great opt-out forms now updated on our website for free to empower parents who, for whatever reason, still have their children in government schools.
All right, let me take a quick break. So honored to have him back with us. He's a busy guy, as you know, as you can see now. And go to PJI, PacificJusticeInstitute.org, PJI.org. There's a picture of the landing page. A lot of resources there, a lot of information for you to download that Brad and his team has made available for you. And more importantly, support him. They're out there doing it, all 50 states, for you. We'll be right back.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making, and you've made it all possible by your faithful giving. Change is in the air, a difference you'll see. Mornings will never be the same. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Every day in Southern Oregon, lives are shaken by poverty, violence, and hardship. Last year alone, the Salvation Army reached more than 11,000 people in Jackson County with food, shelter, and critical support. Behind every meal served, every family housed, and every life restored, there's a volunteer making it happen. Please join us. There are many ways you can volunteer and make a difference in someone's life today. The Salvation Army doing the most good together. This message made possible by the Oregon Health Authority Hospital-Based Intervention Grant.
I felt these shock waves going through my arms, my chest, my neck.
I look at the monitor and I see a cardiac dysrhythmia that's really lethal. The chances of coming back from that, less than 1%.
Everything became dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So I said, please help me, I'm dying.
The first thing was, Lord, I need your help.
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. An honor to have back with us Brad Dacus. Brad is the president of Pacific Justice Institute, PJI, and that is also their website, pji.org. Again, there's a picture of the landing page. So much going on in this organization, and God is using them around the country in all 50 states. I certainly encourage you to check out the website. Very informative, a lot of resources there. And pray for them and support them. And by the way, when Brad's calendar allows, he'll come to your church and speak. Get a hold of him. He likes preaching once in a while.
Yes. I love seeing people come to Jesus, and that's what almost happens every Sunday. I give the gospel real clear and opportunity for people to pray and receive Christ as their Lord and Savior. And I will tell you, that is more of a joy to me than suing Planned Parenthood. But I really love to sue Planned Parenthood, but I love to see people come to Jesus even more. So it's a great joy, and I never charge anything. I'll pay for my flight, my hotel. I just love the opportunity to preach the gospel.
PJI.org, that's how you get a hold of them. Okay, Brad, so much is happening with education. You know, we're seeing the Department of Education slowly being dismantled. This means it's going to go back to the states eventually, at least more responsibilities. Much like Roe versus Wade, this could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. But in the meantime, regarding government regulations on homeschools and parents' rights, it still seems to be pretty strong out there, even with an administration change. What's your take?
Yeah, homeschooling is very strong in our country. That said, we have some states, like New Jersey, that are trying to limit homeschooling, control it, distort it. And so let me just give you an example. There's some legislation. It's AB 5825. It's pending. This would mandate that schools, that homeschoolers, would have to comport what they teach to meet, quote, state standards. Well, what do we mean by state standards? Well, that includes DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, LGBTQ propaganda and indoctrination. That would mean them not being able to have as high of as academic standards that homeschoolers usually have, and having to include materials that are irrelevant to the child's true education and development. The government would come in and supervise. Homeschoolers would have to pay out of their pocket for a third party to come in and evaluate their homeschooling. This could be very costly and very cumbersome, and a lot of paperwork. So this is an effort by the state of New Jersey and the government and the legislature of New Jersey to basically punish and purge homeschooling in New Jersey. States like California, Governor Gavin Newsom is guilty of these kind of attempts as well, and the governor of Illinois. So people need to understand, when you're living in these states, this kind of persecution still exists, even though we have a White House resolutely supporting the rights of parents to homeschool their children.
I guess this is just kind of a broad question, but why has aberrant sex issues become the #1 curriculum in public education?
Yeah, it's just evil. It's demonic. That's the only explanation to have. So many teachers in public education have drunk the Kool-Aid, if you will, with regards to why they are there and their purpose. They've lost what their purpose is. Oftentimes, they've been distorted as to what their purpose is. And a lot of parents have been unaware of what's been taking place. Well, you know what? Parents now are more aware, I think, than ever through the pandemic. Many parents saw on the screen, on the Zoom screen, what their children are being exposed to. I know of one family in particular, they saw this and they said, absolutely no more. They shut down the computer and said, we're having you in a Christian homeschool program instead. So this is where we're at. But the good news is that, Perry, the Supreme Court, as I mentioned before, in the Mahmoud versus Taylor case, made it very clear that parents have a fundamental right over what their children are exposed to when it comes to the family's religious beliefs, moral values, convictions. And this applies to anything in the curriculum that the public school is pushing. So we have a great affront now with parents who take advantage of this to use opt-out forms to challenge the public schools. At the same time, that same principle will be there to defend and protect the rights of homeschoolers in deciding what is best for their children's education versus these kind of, I believe, unconstitutional mandates. We at PJI stand ready, make no mistake, to challenge this kind of legislation as unconstitutional. We've already sent the Attorney General, the state of New Jersey, our demand letter on the legal analysis, our opposition letter, should I say, to this legislation that I just discussed. And we stand ready in our offices to contest similar legislation across the nation.
Back to Charlie Kirk's case just for a moment. Brad, is the university there in Utah liable at any level because of lack of security?
Potentially. We'd have to look at a number of factors. Number one is, did the level of care that they provided Charlie Kirk, was that comparable to the level of security and care that they would have provided or have provided in the past for other speakers? Mm. Did they deliberately and knowingly or negligently provide less security than was reasonably necessary? These are real issues. We've known that people get on buildings and try to assassinate. We saw that with President Trump. Why didn't they have just one person up there who could see if someone was on a rooftop or somewhere able to shoot and kill someone like this that was so well known, so highly controversial in the eyes of a hostile environment, which is a public university, even in Utah? I would say the overwhelming majority of those professors were not friendly, but hostile. And that hostility can permeate into the minds of students and others. So I think that there is a possibility of a lawsuit. Whether or not Turning Point USA or the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erica, decides to go down that road, I don't know. But that is something that they could easily investigate. There could be a plausible case to challenge that. But those are the kinds of things you have to look at: is unequal treatment, negligence, et cetera.
I guess the reason I bring that question up is that immediately after the incident, and 33 hours later, they catch the suspect, and the first thing that comes out, well, he acted alone. And then the next thing that comes out is all this video of him. You kind of go, well, who was watching the video? Why didn't anybody see this? I mean, it's like, it's just staggering that they had all the video of him up there doing what he was doing, and nobody said anything.
Yeah, that's very concerning. You're right. They actually had, it wasn't just video that people weren't using or looking at. There was video that was being monitored where they could see that person on there with a gun, and there was no alerts, there was no alarms, there was no action taken. That is very concerning. I think we're going to see a total re-examination on university campuses moving forward to whether there's a lawsuit filed here or not, to ensure greater security efforts are taken, protective measures are taken. We shouldn't have to have plexiglass, protection barriers like President Trump is having to use also on university campuses. But that may be what it takes because of the hate and the vitriol that's pouring out, not just from the students or the internet, but by professors at these colleges and universities where they justify it and they somehow applaud it. That is extremely hazardous and dangerous. And I think, frankly, there needs to be more effort to hold those professors accountable. And, when they act beyond the protections of the First Amendment, they need to be accountable and they need to be fired. That's simply too dangerous to have in the minds of our students and universities. Anyone encouraging the killing or saluting the killing and assassination of anyone.
You look at that memorial, 100,000 got in, 20,000 into a building next to it, 80,000 were turned away, and then when the analytics came in, 100 million watched it on TV. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that the Holy Spirit's moving, and that God is using this. He's a three-dimensional chess player. We play checkers. God's a three-dimensional chess player. And this did not take God by surprise. And the Holy Spirit's moving and using this, I believe, as a wake-up call to awaken people, to make people be more bold about their faith, but also to harvest, if you so will, so many people who are on the fence or just were convicted. So many have come forward and said, I was a non-believer, but I just felt drawn to God through this and give their lives to Christ. So the question, though, is: are churches and are Christians going to be, open about their faith? They're going to reach out to the public schools and ministry like DecisionPoint.org does, and work with ministries like that, or in the workplace, and use like our resources to train people in their church who own businesses on how they can legally evangelize their employees and their customers and community. These are all free resources. But the day for churches at a time of awakening and revival is not for churches to do business as usual, but to open their eyes to how the Holy Spirit's leading them for such a time as this. And that's one of my favorite sermons to give, by the way, is Esther chapter 4. I think it applies so much, so clearly to us as we face challenges as Christians and yet have great opportunity for God in the end to be glorified through it. But we have to step up to see what God has given us in our own lives as Christians to live our faith.
You're an inspiration, my friend. Thank you. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, go to pji.org. That's the website. As Brad just said, there's a lot of resources there, and they're there for you, and he's there for you. So support his organization and become a part of what he's doing in all 50 states, pji.org. Good to see you, my friend. God bless you. Stay in the fight.
Thank you. You too, Perry. Thank you.
Okay.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Here's a recipe for a great morning. Get plenty of rest. Spend quality time with God. Have a good breakfast. Then add a generous helping of Perry, Jerry, and Mornings on the Dove. They'll get you ready for the day with encouragement and information.
Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Here we are.
Mixing in the latest news, weather to plan your day, an inspiring reminder from God's Word, baked with timely insights and discussions on today's headlines.
Do you realize how many headlines are out there this morning?
Oh, man. And of course, lots of laughs, fun, and encouragement they're famous for.
That is no joke, Barry. That's not a joke. That's real.
You gotta go.
I've seen pictures of that.
to bring you a smile before you start the day. Make Mornings on the Dove part of your morning recipe.
Anyway, good morning to you.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 a.m. only on the Dove TV and radio. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us. Get ready to experience evangelism like never before.
What did you have to do to come back like this?
Each time you come back, you get closer to God.
Ray, tell us about your past life as a Chihuahua.
Will the Master on the Dove TV delivers thought-provoking interviews between their dynamic co-host team and captivating witnessing encounters.
Have you ever read the Bible?
I read the first page.
You haven't got past this page.
Tackling hard questions with biblical wisdom and bold street witnessing that will leave you inspired and equipped to share your faith.
Hey, why should I let you into my kingdom? And you say to him, because I was true to myself.
Each episode will leave you better equipped to carry the good news into the world in this unique, award-winning reality TV show that will leave you saying, I can do that.
My prayer life goes on steroids when I'm witnessing. It's like...
Learn how to share your faith with Way of the Master, Thursdays and Fridays on the Dove TV. Tackling the tough issues facing America and our nation's freedom. That's Sekalo on the Dove TV.
DAs around the country finding who they want to prosecute and then determining what crime they could charge them with.
You can't believe this is the country we're living in, that this is happening.
A bold half hour hosted by ACLJ's Jordan and Logan Sekalo, taking you inside the battle of constitutional and political freedom, discussing issues that matter to you and your family.
This is just not the right precedent we want to be setting, even if we don't like Donald Trump.
This is just all-out chaos, and that's what could happen very soon.
Watch Sekalo for issues that matter to you, addressing the problems of Christian rights in the workplace, school, the marketplace, and protecting human life.
I hope this doesn't have to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Be in the know with Sekalo. Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday only on the Dove TV.
Welcome back. It's been a little while, but always a delight to have with us our good friend Joel Block. Joel is a seasoned venture capitalist, a financial strategist, an advisor, conference speaker, all-around good guy. He heads up, what are you doing now? JoelBlock.com. Joel, what's your company's name today?
JoelBlock.com is perfect. Perfect.
Okay, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Good, Jerry. How are you?
Just somewhere between normal and crazy, so doing fine.
Yeah, well, listen, the world needs you.
Yeah, it needs you. Hey, it's been a while, and a lot's gone on, and tariffs are up, tariffs are down. We're in the middle of a remodel and adding some new equipment here, and I've been fighting tariffs. I actually had to cancel things because of tariffs and go to another company. So I got mixed reviews on tariffs right now, but your 30,000-foot view of the economy today, what's your take?
Well, let's look just the Dow. The stock market doesn't think there's too much problem. I mean, it's just about at the top of where it's ever been. So from that perspective, all is good. Listen, I'm pretty bullish on these tariffs. I think that in the long run, things are going to work out pretty well. I get that there's a lot of short-term disruption, and I'm sorry that you're having some problems buying things. I know a lot of other companies are having trouble buying some things. But when the wind finally blows over, with the exception of a small number of countries who are really pushing hard to push back on this, the president has very skillfully and masterfully used these tariffs to restructure the world order and the way that things work. Got to remember that our economy, globally is over 100 years old, and some of the things that happen are just not working anymore. And he's really worked hard to reorganize that. And we're going to feel the benefit of this for a long time.
Inflation numbers are due out. What's your anticipation?
Well, apparently they're slightly up. But here's the irony of this. The Fed has been, everybody's been wanting them to bring interest rates down. The economy was so strong that they were afraid to bring interest rates down because they don't want to make a strong economy even stronger, because that could create some problems. But there are a couple of problems showing up. There's a teeny bit of inflation being attributed to tariffs. There's a little bit of unemployment softness, again, being attributed to tariffs and some of the related items. And that's going to encourage the Fed to bring those rates down. So a couple of weeks from now, when the Fed meets, we should see a decrease, and for the first time in a long time.
Well, I understand that. You understand that. Do you think Powell understands that?
Well, let me put it like this. 3 years ago, when they started raising the rates, they did such a bad job. And there wasn't anybody who thinks that they didn't do a bad job, at least not the professional people. He did such a bad job of managing the escalation of the interest rates in the economy that I think he's just terrified to do anything right now. I think he's paralyzed with fear. But the indication is that he's going to start bringing those rates down, especially now that there's a couple of little hiccups in the economy. He'll bring the thing down at least a little bit, and there likely will be more decreases over the next couple of months. Probably bring it down in quarter point increments. So that's the likelihood.
So, as you know, one of these rogue district judges filed a suit to stop all these tariffs because supposedly they're viewing it as a tax, and that should come from Congress. That's a stretch, but that's one person's interpretation. It's expected that will be appealed and probably end up at the Supreme Court. How do you think it'll rule?
Well, it's a funny thing. Every president, either puts on tariffs or approves tariffs or lets the other president from before them let those tariffs ride. Trump put on tariffs in his first term in 2017 and beyond. Biden allowed those tariffs to continue, and now they're pushing back on all the tariffs. So, I think that there's just a lot of noise. My sense is that this is really good for the economy. If they have to put it in front of Congress, they probably should. If that's what is mandatory, I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to say, but I think that these things are good for the economy. I personally think that a country who wants to do business with us should pay a little privilege tax. And that privilege tax is we're the greatest economy on the planet. If you want to do business with us, then you got to pay us a little something for that privilege. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, in the other direction, I think that all tariffs, they really should remove as much friction as possible. All tariffs should be removed, and maybe we just leave this little privilege tax in place because we have subsidized the development of an awful lot of countries using the tariffs that we've agreed to pay. So over the last 50 or 100 years, we've paid tariffs to other countries that's sort of been a subsidy to them to help them get up and running. Most of these countries don't need those subsidies anymore. The tariffs that they've been receiving, they've done the job that they were intended to do. And now we can move on and we can flatten that thing out and give the benefit back to consumers. So my sense is that a lot of these tariffs are going to go away. And if there is a little privilege tax of 10 or 15%, that'll be absorbed by the manufacturers. The consumers won't feel anything. So the United States economy is going to get a lot of benefit for very, very little interference. And that'll be just a great thing. It'll really help us with our national debt. It'll just help our economy in general. And all the way around, some really good things are going to happen.
So at the end of the day, this is kind of semantics, isn't it? I mean, one group's calling it a tax, another group's calling it a business service fee.
It's a tax. I mean, I don't think of it as a tax, but it's a tax. I mean, the bottom line is that we're adding something that the federal government of the United States is going to keep and collect, and that's what it is. So I guess you'd call it a tax, no doubt about it.
Let me swing your head to energy. Do you think the cost of energy, we got a couple things going on. Do you think we'll see oil prices continue to go down as we become more energy self-sustaining? And
well, I just saw that some of these Middle Eastern countries are increasing production. Even though oil rates are rather low, they're increasing production, which is going to cause prices to go back down even further as you increase supply. Demand stays flat. The pricing should go down. So we're going to see that, and that's going to happen here pretty quick. I don't know why they're doing that, but that's what I read is happening.
Do you think nuclear energy is back on the table?
Well, I think it has to be. I think that there needs to be an alternative. You got to remember that the disasters that happened were already 50 years ago. There has been great progress made. I've spoken to a couple of different nuclear scientists in the last couple of years, and they have told me that they could really do wonders now with nuclear. They could take a small container, what they're using, like a half the size of a ship container. They could build a little reactor in there. They could bury it underground in a neighborhood. They could power a square mile of a neighborhood like forever. And so it's quite an amazing technology. There were things about it that didn't work out. Even 15 years ago, the Fukushima deal, that happened. There was a problem because water got into it, and that caused a lot of problems. So there are things that they've learned. There probably are things that they have to continue to learn. There may be some future situation, but our demand for energy as a society is so great with electric cars, with AI and all the different kinds of technologies that we use. Every one of us has phones and we have other electronic devices. We are so dependent on electricity and on power that we're going to have to come up with something. And apparently they haven't really invented anything new in the last while. So we're going to have to go back to something that we know that works and just put better safeguards in place.
Real estate seems to be stalled. Is that primarily connected to the rates?
Yeah, I think it's largely the rates. It also, now we're going into the slow season. The slow season is the holidays, which are coming up on us here pretty quick. A lot of things have happened. A lot of young people or people in general, they move around between their jobs and change cities. That's slowed down. The pandemic really caused an awful lot of problems. People moved to other locations away from where their job was. So they took money out of one city, they put it to another city, they took the rate that they were getting paid in one city to another city. So there has been a lot of interruption and a lot of disruption that really is going to take a good while for it to come out of the system. The ripple effect is very significant, and we just have to work our way through this. But there have been a lot of issues that are very complicated. The pandemic really caused a lot more problems than people realized. And even though the pandemic was already 5 years ago, it takes a good many years for things to iron themselves out.
Okay, just to kind of wrap this up, because I'm trying to figure out when this thing actually settles down and people get it. A lot of people don't walk in the way you do, in the world you're in the discussions you and I have. You add to this AI's coming on the scene, and still a third of corporate America hasn't returned to the office. You kind of go, what's ahead?
Well, a lot of corporate America is demanding return to the office. So that means that there are either some people who are going to get exemptions from this. More and more companies are requiring it. It's, listen, the world is just a different place. The young people have a different expectation of what should happen in the world. Older people, people who tend to be running these companies, tend to have a little bit of a different picture of what the world should look like. And those two things have not quite reconciled yet. So there's a little bit of tension in the marketplace, and a couple of these things are a little bit complicated.
Do you think there's more sanctions coming with other countries like Russia, China, and maybe even Ukraine with that issue?
100%. I think without a doubt, more sanctions are coming. I think that the way the president wants to punish India for buying Russian oil is very powerful. Okay. And of course, India is very upset about this, but you'd expect them to be. But he is going to get his way. One thing about our president is he knows how to get what he wants, whether people like it or not, and he's not afraid to do it. The guy's got an iron gut, and he is just not afraid to do what it takes to make things happen. And he is working hard to protect all of us.
All right, good to see you. Go to joelblock.com. That's the place to go. That's the landing page right there. He's got a lot of resources there that he'll be glad to share with you. And he hands that out because you watch him on the Dove. joelblock.com. Good to see you, brother. Stay in the fight. We need you.
Barry, be well, man. Nice to see you.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at the Dove TV. It's been months in the making. Change is in the air. What is it? Find out coming soon on the Dove TV.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service, where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Welcome back, and continuing with the theme of economics. Delighted always when we have a chance to sit down with Dr. Murray Sabrin. He's an emeritus professor of finance there at Ramapo College in New Jersey. Author of several books, but his own autobiography is really inspiring. Check it out. It's called From Immigrant to Public Intellectual, An American Story. There's a picture of the cover of the book. Professor Murray has a website, and that's Murray Sabrin, SABRIN.substack.com. Professor, good to see you again. How are you?
Great to be with you, Perry.
Sorry about all the connection problems, but glad to have you when I can get you, even if it's only for a few minutes. Did you hear any of that other conversation, or what did you think?
Well, as you know, I'm a free trader. I believe in the free enterprise system that's created the greatest amount of wealth and reduced poverty by a factor of 10, 20 over the last 100 years. And anything that disturbs the free flow of goods and services domestically and internationally is going to make us less prosperous. And so tariffs do that, income taxes do that, sales taxes do that, property taxes do that. That's why I wrote my first book, Tax-Free 2000, The Rebirth of American Liberty, how we create a tax-free society in the 21st century where everyone would prosper, the government would be confined to its authorized activities according to the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, and we would have the best economy in the world where businesses would flock to America, and we wouldn't need all these tariffs and these carve-outs and all these other things that the government does to try to boost the economy. The government can't boost the economy in general. All it could do is help some people and hurt other people, and that's what tariffs do. It protects the domestic industries, and it hurts other industries. And we know from the data coming in for the past several months is that the manufacturing sector is being hurt by the tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other products for coming in from Canada, Mexico, and around the world.
All right, so the president's pitch is that's temporary, it'll turn around. What you just heard from Joe Block and people like yourself, no, this has got more of an impact. And I can tell you this, I'm right in the middle of a construction project here where I had to buy equipment, and I had to cancel those orders because of tariffs. Mm-hmm. Why should I pay a lot of money for something that's already in stock, and I'm being penalized because it has to be replenished from a foreign country? So the point being is, right now we're hurting. And yet a lot of indicators saying, no, things are up. I'm confused.
No, there was a great piece by Mark Skousen, the economist in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, how when the data that he looks at, which is an important way of looking at the economy, we think of the consumer as the focus of the economy when it's really manufacturing. And he points out that manufacturing is really slowing down in the economy. And that's always a prelude to a recession. So whether we have a full-blown recession somewhere down the road in the next year or two remains to be seen. But the point is, government cannot manage an economy, whether it's a small economy, whether it's a large economy, or something in between. Government officials are not entrepreneurs. Men and women entrepreneurs who run businesses, they're the ones that provide us with the goods and services we want. Government has one responsibility, from my perspective, and basically from the Constitution and the Declaration perspective, is to protect the borders and make sure locally we're safe from criminals. That's the responsibility of the government. Anything else is intervening in the voluntary exchanges of people. And when you do that, Perry, you get distortions. And distortions are shortages, surpluses, and all the things that we don't like about the economy is attributable to government policies.
Two questions. As you know, the president's tariff issue is going to the Supreme Court. I think arguments start somewhere in the middle of November.
Right.
Question one is, how do you think that turned out? And question two is, he's been known also to retract tariffs. So all of this ends up being a bargaining chip on the table of dealing. So do you think you'll see a pullback?
Well, here's what I think could happen, and I hope it happens. I hope the Supreme Court rules 9-0 that the tariffs are unconstitutional because the president doesn't have the unilateral authority to do tariffs, even though there are some laws in place that give the president some sort of authority for tariffs if in an emergency. There's no emergency in the country today. There's no shortages of any products like we had with the oil crisis in the 1970s. The originalists on the Supreme Court, the Clarence Thomases and the Gorsuches and the others, the Alitos, should say, listen, if the president wants tariffs, he has to go to the Congress and let the Congress, according to Article 1, Section 8, increase tariffs. Because if the Supreme Court allows the president to increase tariffs unilaterally, then a president down the road could say, listen, I want to increase income tax rates so upper income people pay more of their fair share, whatever that means. And then where are we? A Democratic president will increase income tax rates. There are some Democrats that want tax rates to go to 70, 80, 90%. That's how crazy they are. And if the Supreme Court stops this right in its track, then we won't have the problem of presidents doing this unilaterally.
All right. We're getting a little funny thing with your camera there. Let me ask you this. You guys can just go to me and we'll do audio there if you want to a little bit. Here's the other question. The president with this case before the Supreme Court could be, may have put the Supreme Court in a corner, and that is if they unwind what's already been started, it could be a big mess. Could they say stop, just say stop? Or are they going to say, stop and return what you've collected?
That is an interesting question because if the government puts a tax in place or a tariff in place and it's ruled unconstitutional, then I think the people who paid the tariff can make a justifiable argument that since it's unconstitutional, we should get a refund or a rebate of the tariffs that we paid. And that'll go to the Supreme Court also, I'm sure. But see, this is why government intervention, Perry, has negative consequences for the economy. And this is why the plan that Trump has not been well thought out, because if he really wanted to increase tariffs, he should have gone to the Congress and asked them to pass a bill to increase tariff rates. He would sign it, and then it would be constitutional.
Have you paid much attention to maybe what's happening in Europe and their economy over there? It seems to be moving in the direction of being seriously in trouble.
This is what happens when you have a big welfare state. And then on top of that, you're increasing military spending for Ukraine. So again, the whole point of my Substack is the welfare warfare state takes resources out of the people's pockets, out of businesses' pockets, and builds up these huge bureaucracies domestically and with foreign aid and military intervention around the world. So I've never been a fan of this. And when I really learned about this in the 1970s, I said, we're going to have some problems down the road. And here we are at the end of the line of this big monstrosity called the federal government. And that's why I wrote my book 30 years ago on how to reduce the size and scope of government to give people their natural right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Again, I'm running out of time, but I do want to get your perspective on this because you proposed an interesting solution as it relates to Gaza. And as you know, the president came out with a 20-point plan with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Most everybody has signed on except for Hamas. And if Hamas doesn't agree, then I guess that could be the end of Hamas, because everybody's tried everything to bring peace there. But you had another little interesting twist to it, and that is?
Well, that is the Palestinians are really part of Israel. When you look at the geographic land of Israel and Gaza, it's basically one big country, and the Israeli government should offer the Palestinians full rights of citizenship of Israel, and this way they would have the same rights as any other Israeli citizen, and they should be able to live in peace and harmony, develop Gaza as a industrial base, a commercial base. It's a port, and so you would have, I think, peace and prosperity if you have this general notion that everyone living in the area should be an Israeli citizen.
So basically blanket amnesty?
Well, I think so. I think Hamas has to lay down their arms and say, listen, if we have full rights as every other Israeli citizen, then we are protected by the government in terms of what every other Israeli citizen has the rights of in Israel. I think that would be the more humane solution. That I think would be a practical solution, and it would create the conditions for people to live together in peace, and that's what a pluralistic society is all about.
Interesting. All right. Well, listen, Professor, I'm sorry we've had some technical problems today. I certainly value a lot of the things that you share with us. And let me say to our viewers and listeners, again, your first book, what's the title on that one?
Tax-Free 2000, The Rebirth of American Liberty. And I'm very proud of that book because it goes through government spending and shows how the private sector or the nonprofit sector can take over virtually everything that the government does. And that's why I've been such a big advocate of the nonprofit sector, because they have better outcomes than government programs at a fraction of the cost to citizens. And it's based upon a quintessential American principle, voluntarism.
All right, murraysabrin.substack.com. That is the website. There's a picture of that landing page. And check out his other book, From Immigrant to Public Intellectual, An American Story. And it truly is. I think you'll find that to be very inspiring. Professor, always thank you, friend. Let's stay connected. We'll work out the details later.
Thanks so much, Perry. Great to be with you again.
Thank you.
Something big, something exciting, something dynamic is happening at theDove TV. It's been months in the making, and you've made it all possible by your faithful giving.